I've got to tell you this before we get started, just
Do you
because
though?
it has no other place in the show. Just I'm sitting watching Destiny Fun Police in the car
Mhm.
with the kids, sitting outside the school waiting for them to kind of go in. And every morning they get bored watching whatever I'm watching, so I'm just kind of doing my research for the show.
Yep.
So Destiny Fun Police is really slaying out in one of his gameplays, and I can't remember which video it was. And Phoenix leans over the back, looks at the video, and he goes, "That guy's so much better than you." And I went, "Thanks for that." I said, "I know he's good." He went, "In fact, you're trash."
Did he say it just like that?
Yeah. And I said, "Phoenix, I can do some of those, cool maneuvers when I put my mind to it." And he shook his head and he went, "Dad, no. Sorry, you're just trash." And they just sat back in the back of the car.
Welcome to Two Titans and a Hunter, a Destiny 2 podcast.
A show where we discuss tips, tricks, and tools to help all Guardians succeed and enjoy playing more.
What makes us different? Well, for starters, we're not streamers or YouTubers. We just have a passion for Destiny and are dedicated to keeping Guardians informed and up to date with all the latest Destiny 2 info, news, and opinions.
We encourage your questions and feedback. You can contact us either by email at twotitansandahunter@hotmail.com or on Twitter at twotitans_hunter.
Now, on with the show.
I think I have the sniffles today, guys.
Just today.
Like the cold
Shocked
sniffles.
reports no one.
It might be. I cannot confirm. It might be that my sniffles were caused by the fact that I had the AC on 55 last night. Cannot
Or could be that
confirm.
you have the sniffles every week and nothing really has changed about that. So, have we
No.
opened the show? Can we go to next week in Destiny, or have we not quite?
We haven't
made
opened the
next
show.
week yet?
We haven't done anything. You just came in and we started talking about how you're going to come visit.
Well, I thought maybe you had gotten to it first. It's hard to say.
No, he's
Nope.
not that professional.
Are you guys professionals and I missed something?
Yeah, we have hats and everything.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. So, Two Titans and a Hunter show Destiny tips, tricks, builds, guides, literacy. and
We don't
season
have
of
to
the
do that
Splicer.
every week.
Yeah, you
there's
have
a
it recorded. Yeah, I
pre-recorded-
know.
There's
Yeah.
a pre-recorded bit that just does the introduction thing. We
All
just
right.
have to
Yeah, but-
introduce ourselves. So
No,
Robot
well-
Respawn over there in his hotel.
Is it robot-y? So that's what the problem is. All right.
You're going to be robot respawn for the day anyway, no matter how your audio is. That's just who you
Yeah.
are in a hotel. Just like I am Peroty sitting in his home, coming to you live. And that's Marshall Bravestar over there to my far right, there over in across the pond.
Marshall Bravestar.
Howdy, partners.
What up,
And we
Biscuit?
welcome you this week to our wondrous disaster, our wonderful mess.
Yeah.
Two Titans and a Hunter, where we're going to bring you next week in Destiny, but we're off to a good start because there's already a correction in the very first part of the show. So next week
Not
in
by
Destiny,
us, though. Not
No,
by
no,
us.
no,
Let's
not by
get
us.
this straight. Not by us.
right?
Yeah, we never correct anything.
We're gonna read you. We're gonna read you all the words. Unfortunately, the words, some of them aren't so much there. Next week, we're gonna hack the Vex network on the moon in the next override. The Vault of Glass raid opens the 22nd. Become world's first. The Iron
Love it.
Banner and Showdown return to the Crucible with Valor boosts, and they're gonna tell you to stop Kargan in the Insight Terminus Nightfall, but the Insight Terminus Nightfall was incorrectly listed as the upcoming Nightfall. The next strike will actually be the Fallen Saber strike. So, Fallen Saber next week, not Insight Terminus.
Somebody got a bit carried away there. They were like, "We really want to see Kargan again. We missed him
Yeah.
2 weeks ago. We want to go back." That was it. They
Mhm.
were like, "I'm going to insert this, and I don't care what they say."
Yeah, I'm going to put this here, and maybe they'll go with it. But no, sadly.
And go with
So-
it, they did.
I know it's Iron Banner next week, and you know how much I love that game mode. Could you just tell us what Showdown is so that I know what I'm avoiding?
I would if I could remember where I put the notes for where my.
You should be
Crucible
prepared
notes
for
are.
this question every week. I ask you.
You should know what
You
it
would
is
think
by
so.
heart by now.
I don't though, because that would involve remembering things. I still to this day can't tell you a single name of a single map in this game. I've played them all many, many times, but I cannot tell you what a single one of them are.
I hear you, man.
They exist. I go there, I visit them, I murder people, I get frozen. We have good times, we laugh, we cry, we fall to our death. But Showdown, that's where two teams vie for dominance by seeing which team can score the most kills in a timed round. You try to win the best of 3, and if you're tied going to the 5th round, it becomes sudden death, and you only get one final life to either win or lose. And Shaq screams about Showdown the entire time.
Now,
Grenades!
have you got on that list something about how Iron Banner works? Just for those people that don't know what Iron Banner is and how that works.
You know, I don't have all on my list of Crucible modes that I blatantly stole from Destiny PD, I think is where I stole it from originally. But Iron Banner is basically a modified version of Control, where there's a certain number of points on the map, 3 points. It's a 6v6 activity. You try to collect the points, capture the zones. If you capture all 3 zones in Iron Banner, unlike regular Control, it will lock the zones from the other team, and basically they can't capture the zones for some number of seconds, and you can go slay out and murder the other team, and mercy them, and then everybody wins. And you get to put on your emblem, and you get to wear your cool loot.
And what else about Iron Banner? What's special about Iron Banner that no other Crucible mode has?
It has a demon in there.
Samurai armor.
And what about light? Does light matter in Iron Banner?
Never.
Nope.
Never?
Nope. Your light doesn't matter in Iron Banner. You should go in at the lowest light level possible. That's the most important.
Well, you do get more points if you do go in as a lower light level and kill people of a higher light level. Your bounties progress further and faster.
You do, but yes, that is one of the
So
other
it does matter.
light level enabled activities like trials.
But your artifact is disabled, so it's whatever light level you are on your current gear.
Indeed.
And there are 4 bounties each week, every time that comes up, that are pinnacle rewards. So if you are striving to get pinnacles, that's the week to kind of jump into Crucible and give it a go, because it seems to be a lot more people in Iron Banner than any other game mode for kind of Crucible. Even Trials, when Trials is offering so many more weapons, then it's unbelievable.
Yeah, I don't even know why. It's not even meh. And the last few Iron Banners, I haven't been wowed by the weapons lately. I just haven't. Are you looking forward to any of the weapons coming out of this Iron Banner, or are you just looking for the game mode?
Yes.
A bit of both. I'll try the new. I'll try the new weapons and see what they're like. But I'm not really a hand cannon wielder. I mean, I've got my True Prophecy that I use on my hunter, and that's it. Although saying this week, I really enjoyed using my Igneous Hammer when I was doing the Lost Sector to get my legs, my new exotic legs for my Titan this week. That did work really well.
Yeah, I'm more excited to go into Crucible with the new weapons I've gotten so far and see how they perform and act. And
Yeah.
Oh yeah. What's your favorite weapon so far this season?
I don't really have a favorite yet. I'm really curious to try the grid skipper, that pulse rifle.
Yeah.
I played it just a little bit. I played a couple survival matches just to get the 7-win survival thing done, and I sort of like the way it feels. I like the fast firing of it. It doesn't bounce all over the place.
Oh, so you've got one?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I've got a couple of Null Composure. I got the loaded questions replacement that I've fired like twice. I want to play with it and see if it feels the same way the loaded questions did. I'm really sort of surprisingly enjoying the Survivor's Epitaph, the new hand cannon. I think it's a 180. Like, it fires slower, so I think it has more of that malfeasance feel to me, which is the only other hand cannon I can use halfway competently.
I don't think I've gotten one of those yet.
And I mean, and the Chroma Rush auto rifle, it just makes me smile. I've got one with the Adrenaline Junkie and the heating up perks on it, and it's a bolt of death going towards people. I can bring the Active Warwick out again this season. Between the machine guns and the auto rifles. And,
okay. So that makes a difference. See, that was my thing. I loved it at first, right? During the honeymoon phase, I thought it was great because I have a couple of roles, my favorite being the heating up rampage, right? And at first it was like a laser beam because I have stability almost maxed out on it, right? And it was fun at first. But the downside is it chews through that magazine so fast, dude. I feel like you have to reload the daggum thing almost as much or more than you have to do a freaking submachine gun. You know what I mean? So, I mean, thinking about it like an auto rifle is, like, in my opinion, the wrong way to do it. You have to think of this bad boy like a submachine gun with bonkers range, right? Because that's what it feels like. It just feels like a large capacity submachine gun, fast firing submachine gun that's got more range. But as an auto rifle, I don't like it as an auto rifle. I can't. At first I did, but just not anymore. I don't know.
What was that? The
But that
Chromium
rig,
Rush?
yeah.
Chroma Rush?
But the
Yeah.
rig, I bet the rig makes all the difference for that gun. Really, really extends that magazine, man. I bet it would be fun with
Well,
the
no,
rig.
if you put an extended mag on it, you get 60 bullets.
Yeah,
Still,
Yeah,
I've got
what-
51 by default. Those extra 9 aren't really going to change anything.
Oh, that gets you the extra kill.
Yeah, I mean, the one I've got has a pendant mag and it holds 57, and then, the Warrig brings that up. I've been using between that and the Swarm. I'm sorry, not the Swarm, the Shadow Price, to do Nightfalls this week.
The Shadow Price, yeah.
Because with the anti-barrier auto rifle, you can shoot right through the shields of our buddy Belmont and his little friends.
Yep. Oh, and quick piece of advice for people doing the Nightfall, because we did the Nightfall a few times last night, and we were rocking double primaries. Let me make this clear. You don't need the double primaries. Rock, like he says, like an auto rifle or a scout for the shield popping, and then the divinity. I completely forgot that the divinity has the freaking overload perk on it by default. You know what I mean? So
But Respawn,
Don't
a
rock-
lot of people
don't rock
might
double
not have the
primaries.
Divinity, because the
well,
Divinity
go out there and
is
get it. Stop whining.
is an exotic that you have to do a lot of work to get through doing the
Yep.
Garden of Salvation raid. So maybe a lot of people that are new to the game might not actually have it.
We'll go get it. Go buy it from the kiosk. Go
Or
acquire this piece of
Send a message to
masterpiece.
Respawn, and obviously he'll Sherpa you through the Nightfall, because he has one.
Yes, I don't mind, but if you pull a demon, I'm kicking you immediately.
It's also a moot point because the Nightfall's already gone. By the time people hear this, it'll be a different Nightfall entirely now.
But then you're
Yeah,
just
that's
hitting him
true.
up for next week, because he likes the Fallen Saber Strike.
Yeah, I have to murder your fallen sabers. It does feel like, and again, I've only run 5 or 6 Nightfalls this week, but it feels like the overload hand cannons are actually overloading this season. Like when I shoot
They are.
the overload champions, they actually stop
absolutely
for a
are.
second. Now, granted, I
Yep.
haven't shot any captains yet, so they could just ignore my overload and then murder me anyway. But the Vex champions and the Nightfall, it's like, okay, I shoot you and you actually stop for a second. Versus the captains where you shoot with the overload and they go, no, I'm sorry, I don't believe that. So maybe just my dumb luck, or maybe it actually feels like it works this season. Don't know.
Well, I mean, are you comparing it to not the overload hand cannons, but the unstoppables? Because the unstoppables,
No,
a lot of
overload.
people get those two mixed up. Okay,
Nope,
yeah.
very much the overload. All those captains in the overload all the overload captains in the lost sectors that I would shoot, and they would just laugh at me, and I have to end up just piling arc grenades on to actually get them to stun long enough to bring their health down.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough.
So before we go down the rabbit hole of what's new and what's exciting, so we just
Rabbit
quickly go
hole!
over, just in case we get this podcast out in time. So from Destiny News, Trials of Osiris rewards for this weekend. So this is up until
Submachine
reset.
gun. All of the submachine guns.
3 wins is the new submachine gun, the Soraya's Wrath. I'm guessing that's the name of it. 5 wins is your Eye of Soul sniper rifle. 7 wins, which is your chest piece, the armor. And then your flawless is the Messenger Adept, which is your pulse rifle. And if you are looking for Zer, who is the mysterious being who brings many exotics for everybody, he will bring you one weapon and one class specific exotic. So you have the Jade Rabbit, which is the scout rifle. Then you have the Ophidian Space for the hunters, the Mask of the Quiet One for the Titan helmet, Skull of Daihamkara is the Warlock helmet. There you go. So that's what's happening with those 2 things, if we can get this podcast out in time.
Dun,
And if
dun,
not,
dun.
then that's what you've missed.
Yep. Catch up. If you want to know this stuff as it comes out live, watch it on Twitch, because we have a Twitch channel that does the podcast live. But again, I must preface:
Do we?
you don't get all the cool. Yep, you don't get all the cool sound effects and editing that Nitedemon does. So you just
You
get
do
a
get-
raw version.
You do get half the songs, though.
You do get half the songs, and he's not going to tell you where to find this Twitch channel. You just have to go look for it. You just try your best.
No one respawns in real life, all spelled out at twitch.tv. There you go.
And if you're trying to keep track of who the new things are and who brings what each week, I want to give a quick plug to Destiny Insights. That's plural, Insights on Twitter, because it used to be just a bot that would tell you what Banshee was selling, but now they've upped their game to say, here's what not only Xur is selling each week, but here's the roles each of them have and the totals, and what Ada is selling each day. So if you're looking for like your submachine gun ammo finder or your firepower mod that is the first time it's ever been sold because it's new stuff. Whenever that stuff drops, they will update you with, hey, here's the new thing. So it's a nice place to go, and just, if you're on Twitter anyway, Destiny Insights with a plural S will tell you who's selling what when, and it gets updated daily, weekly as needed.
Nice.
Yeah, because
Good plug.
now that we've had our update 3.2.0 and the game has kind of evolved into the new season, there are new things in the tower. And is it daily or weekly roles for the vendors like Ada and the gunsmith?
The guns. Wait, what?
I'm honestly not sure about the role. Like, I've seen they've had roles, and I haven't really paid attention. I think they're weekly, but I haven't actually visited them and looked at the guns long enough to pay attention to if they were new or different.
So the gunsmith
What are you talking about? I missed
the
the part.
gunsmith has guns each week for sale.
Yeah.
That could potentially be god rolls like we had back in
Oh,
Destiny 1.
the guns. Okay.
And they have mods. If you've missed out on mods over any seasons or you're new to Destiny, there are mods that Ada 1 sells and the gunsmith sells that can help you enhance your gameplay and slot your mods onto your gear. So
Nice.
they're worth checking out every day if you're new to Destiny. So should we get into Destiny 2 update 3.2.0 quickly, just to go over some of the changes and things that have happened?
It's a massive one. It's all the new things.
So
Some of
many
the new things.
They've added four new lost sectors, the daily rotation of legend or master lost sectors. They fixed some case-by-case issues of unresponsive or clumping combatants in various activities. And, fixed issues with preventing enemy AI from firing into some 6-player activities when there are lots of enemies in the area.
Say they've put 4 lost sectors have been adding to the daily rotation. That means that they've added them to the EDZ, so you can now search for them on the Cosmodrome, EDZ, the Moon, and Europa.
In Crucible, they updated the intro experience. You can now scroll through the names of the players you're going to be in there on your team with for about 3 seconds before that screen goes away. Momentum control and Team Scorch is back, and there is a weekly challenge for Team Scorch. So if you haven't scorched people, go scorch them when they come up next time, unless you don't hear this in time. They adjusted the Dead Cliff's spawn points, where players are no longer placed on the edge of the cliff to start the match. That seems good. Fixed some audio in private matches and Showdown. Disabled the Mercy rule in private matches. Players can now join a private match in progress at any time, regardless of scoring and winning. And they fixed all those inaccessible heavy ammo placements on Distant Shore, Bannerfall, Widow's Court, and Altar of Flame.
Now that you say those places, I know where they are.
I don't.
All the ones that weren't there. Gambit, they've apparently fixed a rare issue that could result in fronts not rotating due to a single living enemy hiding at a previously cleared front on the other side of the map. Right into that one. Fixed the incorrect progression of the Legion's Folly Vex. Fixed issue where the friendly Scorn and Abomination could become friendly and start attacking other Scorn. Which saddens me greatly, because I saw him and he was so friendly. I've never seen him attack people. Like, he would just stand there and look sort of friendly at you and go, "Hi, I'm Bob the Scorn, and I love friends." They fixed an issue where drop modes would immediately disappear when the other team summoned their Primeval. Fixed an issue where
that's good.
the Deep Six Gambit map would sometimes fail to move around or take cover. And fixed an issue allowing Warlock players to exploit Blink-related activities to remain on the opposing side during invasions. But what they didn't fix, though, is there is some kind of either lag or bug in the game. Because twice now, I've been murdered by someone who was not a Warlock after their invasion. Like, I killed somebody with a super, was running away, and then, like, fell down dead a couple steps later. I have a clip of it. Because I was playing with ODST and Panorama.
Yes, but were you a Titan, and did you stub your toe? Because that is sometimes the case.
Well, I had gotten the kill. It was like 5 or 10 seconds later. Like, I was running away from the engagement and then just fell over dead. And I'm going.
Well, what did you get killed with? Because I had my guy that was complaining that he got killed by the raid rocket launcher after the fact, and I was like, "Yeah, dude, it has travel time.
Yeah.
So just because you killed him doesn't mean those rockets disappear."
He didn't have the rockets, and I was killed by Misadventure and the guy's name. I don't remember who the invader's name was, but it said Misadventure, and the invader killed me. And I'm going, "Well, there was no Misadventure." Apparently. They fixed a bunch of stuff in the New Light campaign, improved the explanation on some of the tutorial messages. They no longer pop up to distract you while you're trying to play Gambit or Crucible. And they fixed an issue where players could abandon the Spark of Hope quest and not being able to recover it again or get through it.
Oh.
So they've also fixed an issue where some quest enemies in Moon Free Roam would immediately respawn after being defeated. Fixed an issue where the Hive Rune could be missing from one of the stones from the chest puzzle on the moon. And fixed an issue where some of the chest puzzles on the moon weren't appearing. Shorehand now offers repeatable Cosmodrome bounties. And they fixed an issue where players could get stuck behind a boss portal in the Velas Labyrinth Lost Sector. The hive under the helicopter in the dive will now always be that ogre who first killed you back in 2014. I miss him. He's now back. All the forgotten dead ghosts left around the Cosmodrome have been removed and properly laid to rest. So, esoteric, that'll stop you from going around and looking under the map and finding all of these ones that are still there. The grottos now has a player containment volumes around its water boundaries. So that's basically stopping the esoteric from going underneath the map and finding where they've hidden the new ghosts, or they've hidden the ghosts that they've removed.
Okay.
That they haven't really removed, they've just put them further down in the map and he can't get past the water boundaries. But then Froggy will probably find a way around that.
Probably.
You two need to hook up. Yeah. Dreaming City, they fixed an issue where filling up your quest bounty slots could result in a player losing a small gift purchase awarded to them.
Aw. Hey guys, next week, the Fallen Saber Strike. During the encounter inside the bunker, the death volumes inside the bottomless pit has been lowered to give players a chance to recover. They sped up the transition from orbit dialogue to the gameplay by a few seconds, fixed an issue where the dialogue lines from the previous era's public events could be played during the Warsat encounter, confusing everyone. Players' ghosts now immediately revive when the strike ends, and the first team member to enter the Warsat should now reliably see the Warsat falling. Be careful! In the Devil's Lair, they removed some objects that could be interacted with but had no effect. They fixed an issue where players could get stuck in the air during the Sepix Prime boss fight when using Thunder Crash, and fixed an issue where the Sepix Prime was taking more damage than intended. In the Inverted Spire, as the boss fight progresses to lower levels, any player's ghost left above will now spawn at the current lair. Word of nothing, they fixed an issue where the number of champions killed was not always being tracked correctly, and an issue where the Cabal champions were sometimes missing from the arena fight in the ruins of the old Prison of Elders. In the Corrupted, they fixed an issue where players could get stuck behind the Ogre Room if any member of the fire team was too far ahead of them. In the Disgrace, they fixed an issue where players had completed the New Light campaign would always hear the New Light dialogue during the strike instead of the normal dialogue, and fixed issues where players were getting locked out of the boss room and joining players could spawn in too far behind their fire team. And in the Proving Grounds, they fixed an issue where the strike name was written as Proving Ground, so they added the S. Very important.
Super important.
Public events, they've stopped the Ether Ritual, fixed an issue where the UI wouldn't always display that you had engaged with the public event, and the Hive Ritual fixed an issue where players would engage with the public event simply by being in the same area on the moon. You now have to shoot things to join in, and then just stand there.
Exactly. In the Deepstone Crypt, they fixed an issue where players could hop off sparrows and reset the fire in the basement of the crypt security encounter, so that workaround's been fixed. Fixed an issue where you can avoid having the rally banner removed after starting the final encounter, and an issue where you could complete Atrax by having players sucked out of the airlock. They fixed issues where players were able to trigger a quarantine in the crypt security encounter by using the finisher on combatants. The Garden of Salvation, they fixed an issue where the music would fail to play on the Divinity Quest. In the Last Wish, they fixed an issue where Riven could start to wipe cast 20 seconds faster if she went to a certain side. And the Dungeon Heresy, sorry Blue, they fixed an issue that allowed a carry object to be duplicated when dunking. No more duplicating.
That's going to hinder anybody that's trying to do their solo flawless version of that, or even just a flawless version of that.
Yep.
Because that was a big part of people kind of getting around that.
Hope you had it done already. They did move the fact that you can see your fire team privacy button in the roster layout. So that little button flying off to the left. So if you want to make it friends only, clan only, invite only, you can actually change that now and see where to find it. Yeah, and then all the fancy changes to the new ghost, which I'm finding really useful. It's nice to be able to see what bounties you have, like all the bounties you have, because they're sorted in that view by like what you're closest to getting done with. So it's nice.
And I like the fact that you just push down, and it'll keep going through all the bounties that you've picked up. So if you've picked up more than 6, because we thought it was just 6 last week, it shows you all the bounties as you've kind of completed or not completed them.
Yeah, which is really nice.
Yep. Or W and S if you're on PC.
Yep.
Whatever.
Yeah, and they've added that new. They've shifted the Crucible, Vanguard, and Gambit buttons over the left because now there's that Legend area there that doesn't take you anywhere yet. But that's where Volta Glass is going to be on May 22nd when they launch it.
In Season of the Hunt, many armor mods were deprecated as a result of the change to the energy type of all the weapon-focused armor mods being changed to any energy type. The pre-armor 2.0 versions of these perks have now been deprecated.
So if you have pre-armor 2.0 stuff like Nitedemon, you're sad. The rest of us don't care.
I am sad now.
Mm-hmm.
I've got to go and check that out.
Well, like Peroty just said, we don't care.
The Mind Vault ornament can now be equipped on Year 1 versions of the Insurmountable Skullfort. They fixed an issue that was resulting in feminine characters models utilizing masculine character model hands during certain cinematic scenes, e.g. gear and character preview screens, which was resulting in the hands visibly clipping through the gear wraps bits. Telesto, let's pull one out for that one, will no longer incorrectly trigger the Death Throes perk on Verity's Brow Exotic. Khepri's Sting
Well, that
will
hardly
no
seems
longer
fun.
grant True Sight when affected by another Guardian Smoke Bomb invisibility. Felwinter's Helm will no longer cause 2020 Solstice armor.
Smoke, dude. What the?
Will no longer cause 2020 Solstice armor glows to default to void, regardless of the player's current subclass. The heavy-handed mod will now correctly work with the Shivering Strike melee. Sorry, you.
Also, they have the full suite of trace rifle focused armor mods, which they seem to just be handing out at the end.
Yes.
Endgame
Yes.
activity.
No, they're just handing them out like candy. I kill somebody anywhere and I get one. I'm like, oh, where's this only come from?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
We'll just sprinkle these and it'll be fine.
It's so much fun again. I pulled out all my trace rifles that I haven't been able to use in so long. It's so great.
And they've removed the infusion cap from all legendary armor pieces issued or reissued in Season of the Worthy or later. So it's just now got a little infinity symbol next to it.
They've done the same thing with the infusion cap for all legendary weapons issued or reissued in Season of the Worthy or later. So your weapons have become unnerfed or unsunset. Still nerfed.
Until they decide they like sunsetting again.
Until they figure out how to do it better.
I mean, there is no more sun to set, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If they were going to remove the whole thing
sunset.
to start off with, they would have just removed it like they pre-thingy.
When sunsetting gets so bad, even the Vex get involved. Like, yo, you need to stop, Bungie. I'm sorry, bad joke, still funny.
The Vex are like, hold our milk, we got this.
Right? Basically.
So apparently they have nerfed the aggressive 120 RPM hand cannons, and they now have damage and aim assist fall off distance reduced by between 2 and 4 meters based on the range stats. But some of the videos that I've seen this week, people have still said they're very crispy and still work at reasonable ranges. So they're
the
still
crispy
viable.
wasn't the nerf, the range was the nerf, dude. So I mean,
Unless you wear those new Titan pants, which apparently, negates all of that. Anyway.
Yeah.
What Titan pants?
The new Titan pants, the ones that keep you warm at night.
So apparently this roughly halves the range buff that they received in Beyond Light. Vortex frame swords, full energy, heavy attack ammo costs now from 4 to 6, and they've removed the chip damage from swords, which we've already kind of gone over previously. Buffs, they've increased the precision, so that's the headshots, for the 450 RPM auto rifle damage bullet from 17 to 18. So not so much of kind of buff, but just a
just a little bit of precision damage. So yeah, nice if you're pouring damage into a big boss, but not great if you're doing anything else.
I mean, I don't know. Increasing damage done to headshots in PvP, is a thing, right?
Yeah. Gives you the extra point. You've got your linear fusion rifle and your breach grenade launchers in the world loot pool as blue weapons. Your linear fusion rifles got their 15% damage and 20% ammo increase bonuses. Buffs. Increase the damage fall off sorting of fusion rifles, no effect at the 100 range stat, and 2 meters on the 0, for 0 range stat, so a nice little sliding scale. They did decrease the frenzy bonus damage from 20 to 15%. Replace the quick draw on surplus on the Felwinter's Line Natural Horizons, like they said they were going to do. Reservoir Burst increases your magazine size in addition to its other effects, reduced full battery bonus damage from 33 to 25%.
How much extra magazine does it give you? Do you remember?
I don't know.
Neither do I. I mean, look. I mean, if it gives you like a significant magazine buff, that might actually be something worth going after instead of just be like, it's not so bad now. But if they give you like an actual boost to your magazine size, that would be, yeah.
And then all the other buffs that they've kind of gone over in this patch note, we went over last week.
They did what they said they were going to do.
Basically, until somebody says that they didn't do it, and then Bungie go, "Oh yeah, we missed that one."
Yep, and that one, and that one, and that one, and that one, and that one. Oh, that one was unintended.
Like they said, that they've tuned the Mida multi-tool catalyst perk from from outlaw to no distractions. Hawkmoon has increased priority of paracausal charge and paracausal shot buff. The lament was reduced in damage for revving up the heavy attack by 16%. Bastion apparently is still quite prevalent in the Crucible, even though it's had its chip damage removed and the spread angle increased by 13%. TQ's Divination
people were
now
using it for more like a close range weapon anyway, so
TQ's Divination, which was the exotic that we got on last season's pass, is now acquirable through the Monuments to Lost Light kiosk in the tower. So that's that nice little shiny one in between the two vaults if you're running between Crucible and the Gunsmith.
Okay, nice. What about the? Can you get the Divinity out of there still, or yet, or whatever?
No, because you've got to go and do the raid. Stop trying to get people the Divinity a free way. You've got to go and do the raid. Tap up Respawn, jump into his stream, he'll take you. He knows the route.
Yeah, I do.
You've done the rest of the pieces first. And it's worth noticing.
Yeah.
No. If you haven't done either of the pieces, just get him to start it from the beginning with you. That's probably the best thing. Jump into his stream and go, "Can you get me the Divinity?" And he takes you to the raid, and he goes, "Well, why isn't this working?" And they go, "Well, I don't know what to do first."
And like I said, you do some nonsense and you pull a Nitedemon like that, you're getting booted and banned. I don't care.
Oh, don't do that to the people.
I'm gonna do it.
You be kind. You take them all the way from step 1 to step 9.
Can't make me.
It's worth reminding everyone
check.
that there's no reason to devote your life to your power grind, because all sources now drops gear at 1260. Your powerfuls are 1310, and your pinnacles go all the way to 1320. So again, much shorter grind this season. The Exo Stranger has new stasis aspect quests available if that's the thing you want to do. Reminder, you need to own Beyond Light to do that and benefit from those. The weapon focus bounties now cycle on a weekly rotation instead of a random rotation. They fixed some issues with Eris Moore not showing where her quests were. There's new daily and repeatable stasis bounties available from Zavala, Shaxx, and the Drifter. The Gambit daily bounty and all 3 repeatable bounties require the stasis subclass acquisition, because you can't do stasis things if you don't have stasis. Colorblind support, class 2.
Still doesn't work.
They reduced the health of the fallen dropship turrets. Oh, so your colorblind settings didn't do any good? Still blind?
Not for the health bars anyway. The one thing that I need them to fix and go back to, they will not touch, dude. They won't do it.
They're like, no, it's on the list right after reducing the health of the fallen dropship turrets, which are very important. If you gilded a seal, there's now a counter to tell you that you gilded the seal once before, and you can gild it again, and again, and show that off till the end of the season. You can now see some of your seasonal challenges from the past season. I don't know why, since you can't do them, but they're there, so you can reminisce about the good times. Shaders were all changed. Any shader that can be unlocked in the collections can be applied to weapons or armor for the cost of 500 glimmer. If you have the existing shaders held in players' inventories, vault in the postmasters, those have all been removed. And now you have to cycle through a list of 10 trillion shaders to find the one you want. So Bungie, you know what the next ask is going to be? Let me sort or filter.
Yes.
Yeah.
They updated the tooltip to inform players that purchasing the season pass ranks at 99 does not progress past 100. So I guess you can't buy your way to over 100. And your seasonal armor will no longer come from the season pass. It's not there. Can't get 3 copies of it. Sorry.
You gotta buy it. Yep. Gotta buy it.
No, you don't buy it. You play and you get it. The big downside of that is that when you had the season pass, you were handed high stat armor rolls. Now I'm just getting low 50s, maybe mid 50s from doing the activity, the override activity. So I've not had one drop that was quite high. So
You said mid-50s. What do you mean mid-50s? Oh, the stats. Sorry, I was
Yeah.
thinking of the light level.
yeah, you used to, when on the season pass you'd get something like 66 or 68 really high stat rolled armor pieces.
Yeah, but only for
getting
the
higher up
third
in rank.
batch. Yeah,
Yeah, but it was
only the
worth
third
it.
batch.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it was still there if you finish the pass. Now you're at the mercy of RNG all the way.
Oh, yeah, fair enough.
And so taking out the armor, they were able to give you these things on the free pass. At rank 5 and rank 10, you get 25 legendary shards apiece. Rank 15, 5 enhancement cores. Rank 20, an exotic engram, and rank 25, the legendary engram. On the premium track, you get 25 legendary shards at ranks 14 and 44. You get 5 enhancement cores at rank 15, rank 27, and rank 57. 10,000 glimmer at rank 17, 37. Legendary engram at 24. 3 upgrade modules, 34. So basically upgrade modules, exotic engrams, enhancement cores, basically, higher end materials in replace of all the armor. Again, like they said they were going to do, but that's where it is. They spell it out for you. Tweak the background progression of your Valor, Infamy, and Glory, but you won't notice anything really as a player.
What I'd like to see on the season pass is an either or selection. Either I can have an exotic engram, or I can have a golf ball, or some shards, or prisms as a replacement. So like just a drop down thing to select which one I want from that track. Because if I've got all the exotics, I don't need another exotic unless I'm actually wanting to change it up a bit, and look for a different stat roll, which, sometimes is what I want to kind of do. But there are, as I've said many times, there are many more avenues to kind of select what kind of exotic I'm going for. So if I want to get exotic boots for that day or that week, I will wait until the lost sector comes around and I will just farm that over and over again to get various different drops of boots, because it's exactly the same RNG as just getting an exotic engram with a chance for it to kind of come out of there. So I'd like a kind of different avenue of what they're going to actually offer us on the pass, like a selection part.
And speaking of the exotics, have you just been... Does it feel like the game is just throwing exotics at you this season? Like everywhere you turn, there's another exotic. I must have gotten like 6 in the past week, and I'm not doing anything special.
No. I've gotten the one that they give us, the sidearm, and then I've gotten an Aeon Swift Gauntlet. That's it.
So you haven't had anything drop for you just out in the world playing?
Yeah, the Aeon Swift Gauntlet.
Okay. Well, maybe I don't know what. And again, all I've been doing is like playing Override and my three of each thing. I've gotten this week the Precious Scars exotic helmet to drop, the Titan's Rampart to drop, the Stronghold gauntlets, a second Cures of the Falling Star to drop, a pair of Dune Marchers, and I feel like there was one other one that I deleted. I feel like they're just throwing exotics at me. No weapons, all armor pieces, but it just feels like the armor pieces are just coming at me from every which way. So I didn't know if it was, again, just my RNG this week or what.
Definitely your RNG, homeboy.
And I pointed you in the direction of the Fallout Plays video where he was telling you that you could hold X amount of exotic engrams in your postmaster if your engrams were filled up, and then you'd be able to pop them on a day where the master lost sector was dropping whatever you wanted, and it would give you, say, if it was a boots day, it would give you all boots. For some reason, the ones that I'd hoarded from last season, when I popped them on a day that specifically it was helmets, I was getting everything but helmets. So I'm not sure whether they've tuned that or not, or whether it's just because they were from last season in my postmaster, they've kind of gone, no, you can't have that.
One of the little quiet nerfs they didn't broadcast.
So you're trying to get around that? No.
Yeah.
And while they fixed a bug preventing Sparrow cleanup when a rider exited the game unexpectedly, I'm not sure why. They then put in the patch that Sparrows now no longer time out after 7 seconds and can stay in the world semi-indefinitely. Just be respectful where you park them.
Yeah, no, we were doing the dungeon last night, and one of our guys got stuck on the ribbons, and he was up there for, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes, and his sparrows were still where he left them.
Yep, you can find your way back through a trail of sparrows, which I just and they did finally fix the issue where you're if you're running Nightfalls and you're getting your strike unique loot, it actually doesn't give you the vaulted content anymore. So you're not going to get 1100 masterworked gear from your 1300 activity. So that's a nice change.
It is nice.
So as we said, Ada 1 did return to the tale with a variety of new offerings. And once the seasonal introduction quest is complete, players can visit Ada 1 to pick up armor synthesis bounties to earn materials for up to 10 armor synthesis per class per season. Banshee 44, the gunsmith, no longer offers armor mods, but will instead offer a selection of weapon mods which will rotate daily. So there you go, that's answered our question from earlier. They rotate daily, but I'm not sure about the weapons. And all those Umbral engrams that I hoarded on my characters from last season, yes, you can take them to the new Umbral decoder, the helm in the tower, or whatever tower it's in, and decode them into this season's weapons. So it was worth it because I kind of plowed stuff into them to see what I could get.
Oh, good job. And we'd be remiss if we, after telling you about update 3.2.0, there was a Hotfix 3.2.0.0 that came out on the 13th, which fixed an issue that some players couldn't get into the game at all. Something about the size of their friends list. If you had more than like 25 or 35 people, I don't know if it only affected PlayStation or mainly affected PlayStation. The game would just crash at launch. Unless you deleted a bunch of friends, then it would let you in. So they fixed that issue so you can actually get into the game. And crossplay was a little too beta, so some players were able to crossplay a little bit too early. So they've addressed that issue as well.
What that says to me is that they enabled crossplay for certain individuals to test it out, and unfortunately it went live to everybody once they figured out what to do. Now they've kind of made it back into a beta for those selected individuals that have probably signed NDAs and things.
Could be
No.
that.
What I'm thinking is they accidentally released it so that people can see what it's like to raise hype so people to get more excited and bring more people into Destiny. Like, oh no, we accidentally released it. Ah!
Well, I mean,
the
people have either found or farmed there's a triumph or an emblem or something for participating in the cross-play beta to do strikes. So at some point they're going to release it into some form. Because again, at some point before they release it in full, they have to do a large beta test and throw it against the wall and let thousands of people hit it to try to figure out all the ways it's broken. And this could have been one of those early tests too. They say, oh, we're going to release it live. Although the fact that it went live with the new season at launch, that seems like just one more thing to massively break, and it kind of did. So who knows? But yeah, but they fixed
now we've got
the
we've got the updates out of the way. We're now going to go into this week at Bungie for the 13th of May, 2021. And guess what? It's basically Peroty reading stuff, because this week all they told you is there's new weapons that if you've been playing the game, you should know that are already back in the loot pool. So you've got the future war cult weapons, which are quite good, apart from the hand cannon, which was the True Prophecy, which was already back, which a lot of people liked. We now have the number, which is the auto rifle, which is, I believe that was a 450. I think it's a 450. I have got one, and I could possibly tell you what it is. Let me just tell you.
I believe it is, yes. I've got one too.
It's a precision, so that's one of the ones that have been buffed, so it's a 450 RPM. Pretty decent stat-wise, I guess. Then, submachine guns.
Yeah, but the rolls on it. Have you looked at the rolls? The rolls are crap. It has good base stats, like he said, but the rolls are just not good.
Okay. We have the stockade. I think it's statistics something variable, which is the submachine gun. Yes.
Statistical variable?
Yeah.
No, stochastic something. Something that.
Statistic variable.
No, it's not statistic. I can say statistic. I can't say.
Can you?
No. Maybe not. I've got my original one from when it was.
Because of course
whatever it was. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the original one came with tap the trigger, accurized rounds, phase magazine, high caliber rounds, and I believe the phase magazine increased the damage while lowering the rate of fire. So this was the one where you could switch from going from a higher rate of fire to a lower rate of fire, but it would do more damage. And I think Destiny Fun Police really liked this one. It was one of those ones, which is why I kept it. So I don't know if that perk is available on this one. If we were professional enough, we could actually have a look.
Magazine, yes, it is available on this one.
Ooh,
Yeah, like the one I have in that second slot has extended mag, piercing rounds, or phase magazine.
very nice. So yeah, it increases the damage while lowering the rate of fire. So you can have fast firing, low damage, or low fire rate and higher damage fire. So, yeah. Then we have the grenade launcher, and I can't remember. I don't know what the grenade launcher is.
Yeah, I haven't got one of those yet.
I did, but it's not as good as the ones we've got.
What's the name of the grenade launcher?
The name of the grenade launcher is what I'm looking up in light.g. Oh, wait, I can look it up in my vault. Hold on.
I have one. Let me look up on light.gg.
Well, I was on light.gg trying to find that auto rifle that you guys were just talking about because I wanted to look at it.
And the returning sidearm is the Vision. And again, I've got my original one from whenever, which had kill clip, had accurized rounds, and then it had target SAS, short spec SAS, and farpoint SAS. But you don't care because that's an old one and probably not what's available on the new one. But I kept it because it was a good sidearm for what it was at the time. Good stability, good range, and high impact, or 75 impact, which was quite nice. So with the right rolls, that one might be quite good. And then we have the 3 returning swords that have returned for the 3rd time now.
Yeah, we do.
We had the class specific swords back in Destiny 2 at the year 1, I believe it was.
Oh, those what those
I
are.
remember the Quick Fang, which was the hunter one, because you moved a lot faster with that one. I've still got.
Oh, I'm using the hell out of it. I got one that's got Whirlwind Blade and what is it? One for all. One when you hit more than one person. Yeah, one for all. Oh, dude, it gives it a damage buff, and I keep getting ammo back with quick strikes. Oh yeah. Also, I can't find the grenade launcher, so oops. Anyway, yeah, dude, it's so much fun. So much
The
fun.
Titan one was something the Husk
Crown
Cleaver or
Splitter?
something like that. Crown Splitter. And I've no idea what the Warlock one was. But
'Cause
then
it
they
doesn't
changed
matter.
the names of them when they reintroduced them back into the menagerie because they were the heroic menagerie rewards, weren't they, from defeating the boss? And they were just a random drop. And they changed the name, and the hunter one was called Gold Tusk. And I've no idea what the other 2 were called, so I do apologise. But they're back, I believe. Is it now back to being the Quick Fang?
It is, yes.
So it'd be the original names for those. So you've got those weapons, and then you've got the Future War Cult shotgun.
Mhm.
Again, I can't remember the name of that one. The Decide.
Yeah, that's right. I got one and deleted it immediately. But really, no one cares about any of that because we're just here for Iron Banner next week.
We are.
I'm
Well,
not.
one of us is.
2 of us.
Again, it
2 of you
starts
are.
at reset on
Mhm.
May 18th at 10 a.m. PDT. So that's about 6 p.m. in the UK, 1 p.m. Eastern time. So,
Yep. Whatever time
and-
the reset is, you know what it is.
and-
By now.
whatever time it is in the future for you Australians, bless you. God bless you. God save the Queen and everything like that. We have the new machine gun and new shotgun. Oh, and I've just seen that shotgun on light.gg, and it's called the Riss Walker. It's got the Iron Banner perks on there. It's got Iron Reach. So the range, oh my god, plus 18 range to something that's already got 50 range and 65 impact. It's the lightweight frame model, so superb handling, move faster with this weapon equipped. So potentially you could have Iron Reach to push the range out to 68. Now let's have a look. Smoothbore, which pushes it up by 14. So
And
you
it's
can
an
have a
aggressive
range of-
frame, right?
No.
No.
Oh, okay.
Oh my god. I'm clicking the buttons in D2 now. You could have smoothbore to push the range up by plus 14. You can have accurized range, which gives you plus 10 to range, and then you could have iron reach, which gives you plus 18 to range. And then I'm guessing that you could put on what else would give you a bit more range. Oh, you
Iron
can
Reach says
have-
it gives you 20 range. Is that a bug?
I don't know.
Well, they tweaked them this season. Who knows what's up to date or what's not? I remember they tweaked all the Iron Banner perks, and I don't remember what they've tweaked them to. And
So If you have smooth bore, accurized rounds, and iron reach, it pushes the range out to 91. So maybe that's one to look out for next week.
That's silly.
Wow.
You can also get slideways on that, so sliding partially reloads the magazine and temporarily boosts handling and stability. You could have hipfire grip on that one. That bumps up the aim assist and by 15. Quick draw on there. You
That's
can have
only when you fire
surplus on
from the
there.
hip, though. I would definitely go with the quick draw because I feel this is going to be a PvP gun with a range of 90,000, like you just said. So
Firmly
two tapping
planted.
people from across the map with the shotgun. Sorry, go ahead. Firmly
And
planted, Eye of the Storm. Yeah.
Yeah, that looks. Oh, I haven't even put this. You could put a range masterwork on there. Oh my god, you could max that out. Yeah, I've just maxed it out with the range masterwork. 100 range, impact of 65. That may be a good one to look out for. Oh dear God. Destiny. Oh jeez.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna have a quick look at this submachine gun, or not submachine gun, this machine gun, to see what that is.
Oh, you're on that website where you can manipulate the guns?
Yeah, d2gunsmith.com.
D2gunsmith.com. Yeah, that one.
Archon's Thunder. So this is 70 impact, 68 range at base. It comes with, you can have elemental capacitor, thresh, snapshots, rampage, iron gaze, which is your aim assist plus 20, minus 27 in range, or iron grip, which is plus 18 to stability, minus 27 in reload speed. But then if you're in the Crucible, you want maybe more stability on it, because you only get a little bit of magazine anyway, so you might as well just negate the reload speed, because you ain't going to reload, it's just going to be that one bit of the magazine. You can also get Killing Wind on there, Quick Draw, Rangefinder, Field Prep, Mulligan. I do like Mulligan because I miss quite a lot of my shots when they're all bouncing around those hunters. So I like that. Accurized rounds, Appended magazine, Tactical mag, Extended mag, Steady rounds, Alloy mag, Flared mag, and then various different lots of barrel perks. So yeah, that looks quite cool. So there's those two weapons, and then we have the returning hand cannon and the sniper rifle that we went over a couple of weeks ago. Should we go back over those? Do we need to go back over those?
I mean, it's the steady. I don't know. We need to go back over them. I mean, if people haven't been murdered by the steady hand at this point, I don't know what they're doing with their lives.
No, that's not the steady hand.
Oh, it's not the steady hand.
No.
Which we at least tell people what they're called. We don't need to go over them in depth. It's not the steady hand.
No, it's not the steady hand. The steady hand was last season.
Speak up, boy!
I'm getting there. It's the finite impactor, which is a 140 RPM hand cannon that is returning.
Well, there we go.
It has the iron reach, which is plus 18 to range, minus 27 stability, and the iron grip, which is plus 18 to stability, minus 27 in reload speed. But then it also has heating up, so it has one of the new perks. Final blows with this weapon increase accuracy, stability, while improving vertical recoil, and no distractions on a hand cannon. Interesting. Let's just find the sniper rifle.
That one, is that the occluded finality? No.
Yeah, occluded finality.
Is it? I called it.
High impact, 90 impact. Iron reach on there again.
You don't need range on a sniper. You need stability and target acquisition.
Well, you might go for opening shot if it's a Crucible one, and maybe Mulligan, which is quite good.
But opening shot gives you target acquisition. That's why people use it.
Yeah. Opening shot, maybe auto-loading holster, Mulligan. It's got no distractions on there. So yeah, maybe a good one to look out for.
Surplus, probably. Surplus or snapshot.
And then as Respawn alluded to last week with looking through the trailer and then realising that he could order a plushie version of the Smallen. Ikora and Mithrax have big roles this season, but the baby Elixir have stolen the show. We've watched as the community has exploded over how cute these little creatures are. If you want one, then you have to sign up for email updates to know when they're available. So you can't even sign up and purchase them. They want to know how many people want them first.
How many of these should we make, give or take?
No, if we get really popular, maybe we should buy one and give one away as a prize.
I mean, we could do that anyway.
we could. But we need to get our hands on one first.
That's true.
Anyway, as I alluded to at the beginning of this TWAB, it's now over to Peroty to tell you all of the report.
And it is quite the report. We've already pre-reported, and now we're going to post-report, and then this is post-carnage report. You've seen the carnage, and now we're going to tell you what they fixed. So we highlighted the two big things that the Hotfix 3.2.0.0 did, and then there's a bunch of stuff with armor synthesis that everyone's been rabbling around all this week. Your armor won't show up if a player is wearing that armor. Some armor sets were purposely combined into one set to reduce the players accidentally overspending their tokens on duplicate armor. Examples include the Gambit Prime armors, the Leviathan Prestige class armors, the Red War Parade armors, the Green and Blue Solstice armors, Purple Solstice armor, and your Year 1 ornaments are being worked on and aren't there yet in your exotic armor. You can't transmog, so people know you're actually wearing an exotic. And there's a whole bunch of known issues. So many known issues. The precise activity is not rewarding pinnacles as intended. The Deep Stone Crypt no longer awards pinnacle gear, but claims that it does. The Titan Guardian Games Contender Plate chess piece does not appear in the preview and the appearance customization screens. The Guardian Games Crown hologram may remain on the players' heads after the conclusion of the event. Various garden games. Garden games quest bounties may remain in players' inventories after the conclusion of the gardening event where you've gardened yourselves. Your Valor, your Gold, or your Infamy ranks may not gain progress as expected when completing matches in their respective playlists. Players cannot use the Wishender's perk Queen's Wrath when poisoned. The /join command is not functioning properly for players on Steam. The Destination Threader Armor Synthesis bounty incorrectly states opening Blind Well chest to progress the bounty. Players must defeat the Blind Well bosses to complete the bounty. Ignore the chests, kill the mans. The Battlegrounds activity will not progress a Sacred Fusion quest. The Special Finisher mod can be purchased multiple times from 801. This is unintended as multiple copies of the mod will have no effect. The tutorial for creating an ornament through armor synthesis does not play if a Titan character is the first character to reach the step. The tutorial play upon reaching orbit on a character, which explains why I got no tutorial. The decrypted data trove items from rank 212 and 32 of the Season of the Splicer Pass can be acquired with a full inventory. Players should ensure that they have space. I think there's supposed to be a cannot there. The decrypted treasure trove ranks, it says can be acquired with a full inventory. Players should ensure they have space in their inventory before claiming. I feel like that should say cannot be. Or, oh, no, I understand. You can claim them, but you may not actually get them, because if your inventory is full, they'll go into the abyss. I think that's what they're trying to say.
Oh, okay.
I was like, my brain just not. I was like, yeah. So you can claim them, but it says please make room to make sure you can actually claim them and they don't go away. The 150 synth strand that can be earned from completing the armor synthesis introductions is not sent to the postmaster when players have a full consumable inventory. So again, make sure you've got room. The Reverie Dawn armor set from Season of the Chosen is not showing available shaders when previewing individual armor pieces in the preview and appearance customization screens. And that's the list we'll tell you about. We'll link the known issues in the show notes. You know there's more issues, but those are the important bits. All right.
And then I'm a bit sad because our friend of the show, Froggy, didn't get his movie of the week this week, even though it had been approved to be in the voting.
And we tried.
So
we tried hard.
We tried to help. No, I upvoted that thing. I didn't look at anything else. I just upvoted that one thing. Unfortunately, he didn't win this week. I don't know if it can roll on to another week and it just keeps getting voted for. So if it is, just keep voting for it. That's what I say.
And if not, we'll wait for the next thing he does. Vote for that one instead. And that's our 12 for the week. Now we just have the 400,000 other things to talk.
We have, yes. So much excitement this week. So much stuff has gone on. So many bugs that were in the game that we thought, oh, we'll report on this. And then by the time it came to the podcast today, it had been fixed or patched or don't know.
Or fixed and patched.
Possibly, yeah. And one thing I was going to kind of pick you up from the known issues was let me just find it again. The armor synthesis thing with the where they've compressed some of the armor pieces down into just one version of it. I don't get why they've compressed the Gambit stuff down to the basic level one. Why not just give everybody access to the? I can't remember what it was called. I'm gonna have to look this up now. Because it was illicit was your basic set, wasn't it? And then you had. I'm just looking at
I
now.
think the amount of time I spent grinding for that stupid stuff, I'd remember what it was called. But I think I just put it all
Okay, so
in head.
you had illicit, which was your basic set that wasn't very good. Then you had notorious, which was the next set up, and then you had the outlawed. Was it, or was it? No, illicit, outlawed, and then notorious.
Yeah, the Notorious was
So
the one.
yeah, I don't get because the notorious one was probably the best set to get. So I don't understand. I really don't understand why they've kind of compressed it down to its basic form for those ones.
Yeah, I wonder if that was sort of the easiest way to do it. To maybe in the future they'll bring out the other ones. Yeah, I don't.
I know you can go into your view and have a look at what's locked and unlock, but I'd also like to be able to go into like my armor sets and have a look at the full set listed in that long list that you can kind of look at, and then unlock it via just going through your collections, as well as kind of accessing it the other way. I'd like it kind of both ways so that I can go, oh, yeah, I like that one, but seeing them individually in the customization thing.
Like what you were hoping for.
Yeah, I mean it's all right. It's good, but I would like to have it the other way as well to kind of have a quick look at, you know.
Yeah, to see what's there so you can properly play your fashion game. One thing, there's actually I'm glad you mentioned it because blueberries.gg, which we mentioned on the show before, they're actually working on crowdsourcing. If you go to blueberries.gg, in addition to it being a source of good information for other things, they have right on the front page there a list of armor sets. And they are working through they have collected images for 455 out of the 555 total armor sets, counting male and female versions, that they're working on collecting screenshots for, and are asking the community if you've got these armor sets and want to send them some more screenshots to help round out the collection. They're asking for those. So they've put together again 400 plus armor sets. So if you're trying to remember, what does that armor set look like? What does that do? What does it look like on my hunter, warlock, or titan? Then that's a good place to start, at least to try to remember what these are or what they'll look like. And you can just sort of scroll down and see all the armor sets, or search for one you're looking for. And they're trying to also say, is it still obtainable in the game? If you don't have the armor set, can you go get it somewhere, or you just out of luck until Bungie brings it back?
And then moving on from that, still talking about the transmog and things, there's been a lot of discussion about how hard it is to grind, or how much time and effort you're going to have to put in to get all the sets. And you posted a link, which we'll put in the show notes, from Paul Tassi going over the transmog grind of 180 hours. He puts it as an 180 ordeal per season to get the 10 per character per season.
Yep.
So
yeah,
it works out. They've roughly worked it out to be 180 hours, and
so that's a month and 2 weeks of straight gameplay just grinding out armor synth.
So Synth Strand isn't based on kills; it's based on time, and this is by Aloni Homie on Reddit. So I decided to test out the drop rate of Synth Strand and went into the throwaway and turned it into an absolute war zone. Had a stopwatch, did a couple of laps and drop rates, and I noticed that it was dropping every 2 minutes, no matter how many kills I got. I then decided to do nothing and get no kills for 2 minutes after obtaining another Synth Strand, and what do you know? It dropped on my next kill. Don't know if this was tested before, but nice info to know. Edit. The timer for this could change depending on which activity you're playing, but dungeons seem to be every 2 minutes, further testing required. But I think further testing has been done, and it is in fact every 2 minutes, regardless of how many kills you've got. You could have hundreds of kills in the space of those 2 minutes, but you will literally, if you're constantly killing, you'll get it every 2 minutes, which is why it's turned out to be 180 hours all in all. It works out 3 hours to get the Synth Strand, to then be able to buy the bounty, and then maybe 2 to 3 hours on top of that for completing the bounty, because some of these ones are quite hard. The first one that I picked up was capture 30 control points, and I thought, well, I'll easily do that at some point in the next week. There's no rush for me to do that. Iron Banner's coming up, so that's captured some zones and some points. So it roughly works out to be about 6 hours to get one synth strand. So when you times that by 10, 60 hours, times that by 3, that's 180.
So
But all in all,
do you have to be doing anything, or could you just like load into a patrol, put a rubber band on your controller, and then just walk around, and every 2 minutes you get material?
no,
You have to get a kill.
I don't know.
Okay,
You have to get a kill. So your rubber band better be actually hitting something.
Okay, yeah, that's what I'm wondering. Like, if you have to sort of like, is it just play the game, and as it's basically you're getting credit for playing the game as you rack up hours in the.
Yeah, it's basically if you're playing,
what you're doing. You can't just put the controller down and walk away, but you also don't have to be, doing well, doing poorly. You just have to be doing something.
You just have to be there. Oh God.
But I mean, Paul Tassi has a big breakdown article going over the, why it's bad, and he doesn't like it. But if you think about it, at the moment, if you break it down to the 13 weeks, possibly there might be 14 or 15 weeks in this season, but going for like 13 weeks, which is roughly when we're kind of getting the epilogue of this season. If you break it down to 13 weeks, that works out to be 14 hours per week, which is 2 hours per day of playtime to get these things done. If you are going for all 3 characters and you're just playing the game. Now, as the season is longer and a lot of other people aren't necessarily focused on getting all 3 of their characters, everything transmogged. Respawn, you're a 1 character guy. You're not, maybe you touch your warlock and maybe unlock a few things for your warlock. But if you break that down for your 60 hours over 13 weeks, you're only looking at 4.6 hours per week that you need to play. Or just in that week, you're going to be playing more than 4.6 hours. You'll get your synth strand over the 13 weeks. You'll unlock your 10 items for your hunter. It's not so bad. So I can see the reasoning for Bungie thinking that, most players are a 1 class player. And maybe, yes, they want to unlock a few other extra things for their character. I mean, Bungie give you literally 11 items to start off in the game. You get 1 free one to say, here, this is part of the tutorial. Go and unlock 1 thing. You get then the other free 10 that you want to kind of unlock. So this is for every, character if you've got all 3 characters. And then I think it's the grind after that. Nobody should be rushing to get this done. This is meant to be done over the whole season. So I don't understand the complete breakdown of people complaining so much. I get the fact that maybe it's a fear of missing out. You get to week 13, week 14, and you've done 9 out of the 10 bounties, and you can't get that 10th one. You've missed out on potentially that free item, and then next season, you've got to carry on doing the grind. But it's just meant to be a free thing in the game. And yes, I know you've earned that armor before, but like we said before, with the game always evolving, there's always been stuff that you kind of have to leave behind for the game to progress and evolve. And I think it's just nice of Bungie to actually go, you know what, we'll put this in the game. If you want to spend extra money to get the stuff, you can do that. We'll give you the avenue to do that. But there is going to be this grind in the game. It's going to be every 2 minutes you get the synth strand. You can then go and do your bounty and get one of these things to drop. And if you are really focused on doing it, it's going to take you 180 hours of focus if you want it on all 3 characters for the whole season. But maybe over time they'll kind of reduce what you have to do, what some of the bounties. I've heard like killing 40 champions in Nightfalls is really way over the top. So I get that point. There are some of the bounties that are way over the top of what is required of somebody to do.
Unless you're a person that farms Nightfalls.
Exactly, and I think they've kind of taken all of this into account. There are people that out there that just play the raids, that just play Nightfalls, and those players will pick up those bounties for those specific things, and it'll just be knocked out as and when they go. And I think that's the whole thing. It's not meant to be a thing where you spend hours just grinding this out like you would a catalyst because you like that gun and you want to use that gun in a certain activity. I don't think it's meant to be that point of the game. It's meant to be an addition to the game that you are playing, that they've given you an avenue to unlock this armor.
Yeah, it's a marathon. It's not a sprint, and yeah, it's a fashion game. You're not supposed to have all of it day one the moment the thing launches.
That's the most important part of this game, sir. I'll have you know.
And it was also nice too. Like I noticed, like Panoramics had picked up the strike one to kill the 40 champions, and I picked up the Gambit one, which is getting 50 invader kills as a team. So it's it's all team based, and I'm not positive because I again didn't have the champion one, but I'm pretty sure it's like if anybody kills the champion, or maybe you need to land a hit on it, whatever, you're getting credit. It's not like you personally need to kill all those champions. You just need to have killed champions as you do it, because we were running Nightfalls again, and just he was getting progress every single time. So I think they have at least gotten smart of there's a lot of these to do, but at least you can do it with a group. It's not you personally have to go kill 50 invaders or kill all these champions or do whatever the Crucible thing is.
Fair enough. And our friend Cheese Forever has pointed out in one of his videos, the max stack for the synth strand is 750. So don't think you're going to be storing up your synth strand and then you're going to go off and buy stuff. Just be aware that it's 750, which is quite a lot, but it does have a max limit. So I just thought I'd point that out.
Earn it, spend it, look beautiful, repeat.
What they could do with, like we have with some of the other activities in the week, so like next week with Iron Banner, we've got double and triple Valor and Infamy and things for Gambit. Maybe they need a double synth drop week where you get one every minute rather than every 2 minutes. Just saying. Or maybe triple at the weekends. When
Quadruple!
Yeah. I don't know.
Hell, we'll give you 10 just for logging in.
I mean, I'm a collector. I've got all these things in my collection. I can go and view them. And at the moment, even before they brought this out, I could go and equip, or I could pull some of them out of my collection and equip them. I'd be, a terrible stat-wise Guardian, but I'd look how I wanted to look. So I think it's just an added bonus that they put this in the game.
Yeah, I mean, it's a brand new system in the game, so I could definitely see this is something they're going to tweak and say, we're going to start with this. Okay, this number was too low. Let's throw in a couple of double, triple weeks. Let's, give you some activity. Maybe when you run the Pinnacle week, you get a bonus of synth or something. It's something they're definitely going to tweak going forward. It's not like here's the way to be forever.
And if anybody's got any comments or any thoughts on this, then just write into us at twotitansandahunter@hotmail.com and share your views, and we'll read them out on the show and have a discussion. Because it's always nice to have other people's views just apart from our views, and listening to the other YouTubers and content creators complain.
And people do have views. They have all the views on the things, especially with transmog. And I want to share, have an opinion. But honestly, I haven't even touched like I've been working on the quests and stuff and getting the materials and speaking to Ada the Tailor, but I can't say I've transmogged anything or really even given it much thought other than okay, here's a bounty I can work on. Have you guys played with it yet? Transmogged anything?
Yeah,
you have to
right
do
now
one for the quest, don't you?
Yeah, I managed to figure out a way to get my hunter by mixing different transmogs, so I don't have a cape or a hood by mixing certain pieces together. So yeah, I've definitely played with it. It's kind of nice.
I searched for quite a while. I was about 2 hours looking at all the different things. I was thinking, which one thing do I want to pick to unlock first? And I went with my Annihilation Helm from the Trials of the Nine, which is the one which you get from going flawless. So I unlocked that first for my Titan. So it took me a while, but I got there, and I decided I was going to have that one because it's got this nice little kind of waterfall glow down the front.
Nice.
So yeah, it took me ages to decide that though. I was going through everything.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be a lot of people's quandary of what do I do first.
Well, no, I think it was just my quandary.
Yours and somebody else's.
Yeah, and I didn't know if you guys noticed this, but the Forged Machinists, which was the Titan set for the armories, the black.
They're dropping in the world now. Yeah.
Yeah, it was the Black Armory. Yeah, Black Armory Forges is now redropping back in the world, which is quite nice. So if you missed out on that, because a lot of people kind of dipped out of Destiny at that time, and maybe didn't come back for a while.
For
These
shame.
these are now available again in the game, which is quite nice. So they are dropping in the world loot pool. They do look really nice, because it was one of the things I was thinking maybe I should transmog, and also the Scourge of the Past raid stuff, which was another one of I thought maybe I'll do at some point.
So not all the Iron Banner stuff.
Yeah.
All of the Iron banana.
Seems on brand. That's what you should do first.
Banner, and I like some of the high stat roll stuff, but I don't. If you see my Guardian, it's not decked out in Iron Banner stuff.
No, I don't believe it.
No, that's me, not him.
He
That's at it. I would
not me.
here.
Should we just carry on running down these things? So,
Yes.
Peroty, do you want to tell us about Cosmo?
Oh,
Don't do it. It's a trap.
I was actually gonna say that we do appreciate our feedback from people, and Blade Cook, the only Blade on Twitter, let us know that he was listening to the newest episode. Great stuff, but wanted to let us know that Lakshmi 2 has actually been gone from her location since Beyond Light started. Same with Hideo from New Monarchy. Enjoy your Destiny grind. So the room we were speculating about, the moving the helm to, and the little room overlooking Dead Orbit. Lakshmi and Hideo haven't even been there for months, so you can tell we keep up with them often.
Why did they keep the Dead Orbit guy there then? He's just kind of just standing there with a crowd around him.
Because he has no friends. Nobody wants him. So
Because Dead Orbit? I don't know.
Yeah, I suppose, yeah, because Dead Orbit. But then we found Lakshmi, didn't we, Respawn? She's back.
Mm-hmm. Now she is.
Yeah. And it actually is the official, the same woman from 24. It's not where I recognise her from, but you guys recognise her from, was it The Expanse? Or...
Yeah, she's the...
I didn't recognize her at all. I didn't know who the hell it was. Y'all are... That was all between y'all. I was like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, it's like... I can't remember the actress's name, but yeah, she plays Ava Zavala in the president there in The Expanse. I didn't realize she was from 24, so you'll know her smoke 6 packs a day voice once you hear it.
I think she's also in X-Men 3 as one of the top scientists as well. I can't remember.
Yeah, she's been in a lot of things.
I did post it. I think I posted it in the Respawn stuff.
Yeah.
Shoharan, is it Shoharan Agadushlu?
Say it again.
Shoharan Agadushlu.
There's a pronunciation on that.
I'm not touching that one at all.
She replied to Paul Tassi on Twitter and said, yes, at Paul Tassi, I'm back in Destiny the game. Yep. So, yes, she's confirmed by herself that she is voiced Lakshmi, and she's back. We were speculating last week, weren't we, that they've replaced Ikora? Or the voice actress for Ikora for this season anyway.
Who played in the Firefly movie and the Serenity movie, Firefly TV show. Yeah, my bad.
And Suits.
Yeah. Get your cage straight.
My bad. Soups? What's Soups?
Suits.
The T.
Suits.
Suits?
You know the two lawyers?
No.
The lawyers. It had Meghan Markle in it.
Nope.
That's why it's... No?
Nope.
Okay.
No. Not me. Not this guy.
We get to more of the roundup. I also want to mention that our buddy, the Only Blade from Twitter, also said he was listening to it a couple of weeks ago when we started talking about it was episode 116 when we were talking about Bastion, and he said, I gotta say, it's the only fusion rifle I use, and I'm really good with it, and I didn't even notice the nerf, to be honest. So sort of Respawn's point of they nerfed it, but it may not have really meant much to people who know how to use it.
Yep.
And now I'll go back to the channel because I have lost where we were in that.
Man, you know what? These new pants, I really like them, but they really the fashion game because they have like
I thought you were going to say they really itch.
No, well, I mean, no.
All those scales.
But no, you could like the little fish mermaid-ish scales on the side of them, and then they have like a bluish kind of underwater tint on the sides. And I just went through almost all of my armor pieces in the synth shop, and it's like nothing really goes with them, man. So I need an armor ornament for these pants like now, that removes the fish fins and the color scheme. Okay, just give me the pants with all the hubbub, right? That's what I want.
Yeah.
Or introduce armor synth for exotics, one or the other, right? Let me change these exotic pants.
So at the beginning of the week, when we had
That's
the new season drop, they'd move the Guardian Games trophy to the middle of the tower,
And that's
but it still showed.
all it done. We moved
Yeah,
it.
that's all they did. They moved it. Zavala pushed it there and went, "Well, you can have this. This has nothing to do with me now. You guys win. You can have it." But then the lion was still in gold, so
Yup.
we still win.
Nope. It's the snake's gold now, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
On the 13th, again, it's sort of the same day.
Snake is gold now.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what we're saying. So yeah, they did. They first moved it and then updated the snake to, I think, as 19% said, still getting trampled by the lion. Didn't redesign it at all. Just made a different animal gold. And yeah, so now it's there in the middle of nowhere, so all the hunters can enjoy their glorious victory, or much like the Titans, look at it once and then forget it even exists because it's next to nobody. There's no reason to go there. There's snowballs there.
Yeah, man. At least yours was next to freaking Zavala. They just stuck ours in the middle of. Here you go. You finally got it. Yay! And you know that's 100% because Bungie loves Titans so much, right? Cosmo is the only one that was talking about pushing it off the edge. So once again, Cosmo, you step up just a little bit, bud. Just so if you were here and now you go up one little ladder rung right there. So anyway, point is, you know, the whole time there were Titan fireworks in the sky. Hunters finally win. We're supposed to get our trophy. Oops, turns out it's the Titan trophy. And on top of that, they've stuck it in the middle of kind of nothing where it means nothing, right? If you're going to put it in a place where nobody's ever going to go, at least put it,
and it meant nothing.
At least put it where Cade used to be, right? At a minimum, you should have done that.
Where no one
if
goes.
Nobody's going to look at it.
At least at this point, you can see it every time you get in the tower.
They should have put that big rock on a map somewhere. That would have truly honored Cade.
Yeah, right?
Hide it down.
No, but I honestly think they should have redesigned it
on the map where no one ever sees.
I also think they should have redesigned it, but that's asking way too much for people that can't even program their game properly and have 9 patch notes for the same thing that never gets fixed.
It should be the lion on the floor with the eagle, is it? Bird attacking the lion, and then the snake above that strangling the bird. It should be that way round, and it should have been redesigned completely rather than just we're going to paint this bit a different color.
You included the bird. My view when you said that was just the snake wrapped around the lion's neck with the snake's head coming down to strike the lion, and then the bird just sitting behind, kind of watching the whole thing go down.
I did think that to start off with, but then I was thinking you have to put it in order of who kind of came where, and the Titans actually came last. We had, I think, 2 wins, 3 wins, and that was literally the last week after the Hunters went, you know what, we've won, so who cares? We're not going to play anymore.
Yeah. We're done here.
And then, of course, the lion is the biggest, most prevalent part of the trophy, right? So, I mean, no matter who comes in first, that lion is going to be the first thing that you see, no matter who wins.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And it's still trampling the snake, so it makes no sense.
No, I'm looking at it right now. It's not, it kind of looks like the snake is avoiding the lion's paws, but no, that one spot right there, I guess he is kind of stepping on the snake. Oh, no, 2 spots. His back foot's on it, too. Yeah, so you know what, Bungie? You suck. That's all I'm going to say.
So if you've managed to unlock your Null Composure this season, and you're excited about getting all your ornaments for it, they've identified an issue where the quest for getting Ornament Gambit is requiring far more points from Fusion Rifle and Solar kills than intended. But if you're also trying to guild your Dredgen title again, you need a bunch of Fusion Rifle kills. So call it a win-win.
Yeah. Let's put some emphasis on the far more kills than needed. Far more kills. It's a little nutty. Yeah.
So we've got a new artifact this season, haven't we, Peroty?
No, we didn't. Nope.
We did.
We do.
No, we didn't.
And it has some new mods on there for you.
Can't prove it. Also, hey, before we get into the mods, question.
Answer.
I only noticed it this season.
1894.
Right? Yes, exactly. I only noticed it this season. So I don't know
That's-
if it happened
on
in
brand.
the previous seasons, right?
On brand.
But as you unlock more and more of these components, the artifact is getting more and more pieces attached to it, right?
Yeah.
I liked that. Did they do that with the other artifacts?
Yes. Every
they?
single one. Yes.
Oh well. Well, this one is more obvious and it's cooler.
The
and I
bell
like
from
it.
last season glowed a bit more every time you unlocked it.
It got brighter and brighter.
Interesting. Yeah. No, this one you're building it like a set. Maybe that's why, because it reminds me of Legos. I don't know. I dig it.
Yeah, and I give Bungie credit this year this season for us being like, all right, guys, you're bringing back this iconic scout rifle, and we've already had a whole season of scout rifles. No, everyone's gonna put them away. And Bungie said, no, hold the scout rifle. We're gonna give you anti-barrier scout rifle again this season. So if you enjoy your anti-barrier scout rifle from last season, just hang on to it and add the hung jury to it, because now you can anti-barrier with scout rifles or auto rifles. And I mean, what's not to love? An auto rifle to shoot.
I don't think I've got a hung jury yet. No, I didn't. You guys get one yet?
No, it's not available yet. It's in the Nightfall loot pool.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
yeah,
this one's
I
the plug.
forgot.
This week is the plug 1+1, 1.1.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yep. Yeah.
You're right. You're right.
Yeah, we were guessing. I can't remember what we had guessed, but I know we had mentioned the plug one, and yeah, sure enough, the plug one. I saw it in game on someone. I was like, oh, it was the plug one, not the other one we had talked about last week. So
Not the wizard.
yeah, not the 77
The
wizard,
wizened rebuke.
not a single wizard. And if you're looking to
No wizards.
overload with hand cannons and submachine guns, because they're handing those out like, and your unstoppables are sidearms, because who wants to go against an unstoppable champion with a sidearm, and grenade launchers, because it's season the grenade launcher. Let's truly be honest here.
Oh, dude, did y'all see that picture I posted of how many grenade launchers you get with the mods on now? Grenade launcher ammo? You
Yeah,
get 31 for Anarchy, and I think 25 for the grenade launcher from last season, the flippity flopping salvage or salvo, right? 25 and 31. That is nutty.
yeah.
That is so many grenades.
Maybe by the end of the season, I'll be halfway competent with a grenade launcher, but don't hold your breath.
Well, you can always get the wave frame and just shoot it at the ground. How hard is it to miss that way, dude?
Exactly. The Wither Horde I'm an expert at. I don't have an Anarchy. Everything else I bounce through the legs of champions and combatants, and they just look at me and laugh.
Speaking of the Wither Horde, you're gonna really, really like what the Wither Horde can do for you this season. Have you seen all the mods yet? What they all do?
I've seen that there's a scout rifle loader and a rocket launcher loader, but that doesn't really help me. There's
No.
grid launcher dexterity. That seems like fun.
Nope.
So I probably can't use my unflinching pulse rifle aim or my unflinching auto rifle. That doesn't seem useful. Grenade launcher scavenger seems useful though. I could scavenge.
It is very useful. Yep.
Specifically with my rocket launcher, if I want to make things go boom, I can scavenge all the things.
Sure can.
There's this impulse recycler where my grenade final blows grant grenade energy, and I can stack them. So that seems like good time. My dragonfly chain reaction and firefly explosions deal more damage if I put my energy accelerant on. My glacial inheritance, I can defeat targets with my super stasis. And
did you skip blast radius? Yeah, become charged with light by rapidly defeating multiple combatants with grenade launchers or rocket launchers.
Thundering blast, setting a champion creates an explosive blast. I don't know. I'm going down the list. It maybe further down the list. I'm using the.
No, you skipped it. It was in the second column. But okay, go ahead.
Well, I'm using the Fallout method. So if he skipped it, I skipped it. Your surge grenade, your arc grenade disrupts combatants just like it did last season. Your unstoppable Schwarzschild condenser, your void melee abilities stagger unshielded combatants and is strong against unstoppable champions. If you want to say "come at me, bro," and punch them, or apparently hunters, you can throw your smoke bomb at them and that works, which seems a lot more sensible.
Indeed.
Hammer of the Warmind, which is going to be a beautiful thing. The detonations from your Warmind cells cause disruptions, stunning combatants, delaying their ability regen, and lowering their damage output. Strong against overload and staggers unstoppable.
And it's only a 1 cost, which is nice.
Yep. And then if you want to spend, you can get your Void Splash Damage Final Blows, have a chance to create Warmind cells with the Warmind's Decree. Well, to say that again, Void Splash Damage Final Blows give you Warmind cells. It's all about where mine sells because they are still stupidly good. Ashes to Assets is still back. Gain bonus super energy on grenade kills because you should be throwing more grenades. Blast Radius, become charged with light by rapidly defeating multiple combatants with grenade launchers or rocket launchers. So if you've ever actually used charge with light, that'll help you. And your Argent Ordnance. Argent Ordnance?
Yeah.
Argent Ordnance.
Yeah.
I was trying to read it as Agent. I'm like, there's an R there. That will give you, while you are charged with light, ready you're firing a rocket launcher increases its damage and reload speed, and damaging combatants takes one of your stacks of light away. And then the last one, Breach and Clear. Sorry.
That's the one.
Or to make it big enough for me to read.
So let me break this down for you, right? When using a grenade launcher, damaging, not killing. Let me say that again. Damaging a boss or damaging a champion or breaking a combatant's shield, reload your stowed weapons, and causes the combatant to take increased damage for a short duration. That increased damage, by the way, is a 30% buff. So that is tether level damage, right?
Anything with a grenade launcher, you get all these wonderful perks. And what's it going to cost to put this on your class item?
Hold on. Before we get there, there's more, okay? You got to keep this in mind. This is important. And it says damaging, right? We're not just talking about fire something, it explodes, you get the 30-second buff, right? Let's stop and think about it. What do Witherhoard and Anarchy have unique that no other grenade launcher does?
Area of effect, big puddles.
Damage over time. Tick damage, right? So it's already been proven that each tick of damage from Witherhoard and each tick of damage from the Anarchy reapply that buff. And reload your stowed weapons. Each tick of damage. So, in all actuality, if you hit somebody with the Witherhoard or the Anarchy, you don't just get the 5 or 10 seconds of extra damage. You get the entire length of the damage from the Anarchy and the Witherhoard that keep reapplying it, plus the duration after the last tick of damage is done, right? So that bad boy is going to stay debuffed for a minute. Yeah, no, it doesn't work for PvP because it doesn't say anything about people. It says
no, but it says bosses, combatants. But sometimes
it doesn't say combatants anywhere. Oh yeah, the combatant. I see. Yeah, you're talking about that. All right, I was talking about. Okay.
Yeah.
So
they're using combatants to mean not guardians in this case.
No, they mean combatants to mean champions, bosses, or combatants' shields. So, okay, I see what you mean with the combatants part. Okay, but no, it's just shielded PvE enemies, bosses, and champions, right? You get a massive damage buff. It keeps reticking over time. Your stowed weapons keep reloading themselves. So you pop them with a freaking Anarchy. That reloads all your weapons. You pop out your next gun. You fire off a few rounds. You pop your Anarchy back out. It's already reloaded itself because it was stowed doing one of those tick damages, right? Or the Horde, if you don't have the catalyst and it reloads itself, this will reload it for you, right? I mean, this is going to be the mod to get this season. I know it goes on the class item that really sucks, so I'm going to be probably missing out on 12 mobility unless I can shuffle some stuff around on my armor. But the point is, this is the mod to get. And yes, it costs 9 energy. So whatever's on your class mod, all of it's got to go away for this. You got recovery on there, goes away. Oh, dude, it's so worth it.
It sounds like you should just have a class item that has 9 energy unlocked at least just for this. When you're like, hold on, it's grenade time. And then you can have your class item used for other time. You have your you have your good cloak, and then you have your grenade launching cloak.
And that's fine. That's fine. But the thing about it is all the buffs that you would put on your class item, right? Like, let's say you have what do class items do? Are they the loaders or are they the freaking class item? Okay, so your stat increase that you may have on your class item, that goes away. If you have like powerful friends, like me as a hunter, I do, right? That goes away. Any war mind stuff that's on there, that's going to go away. Any charge with light stuff, that's going to go away. You literally have one energy to work with. So keep that in mind. You're going to have to shuffle. If you have important buffs on your class item, you're going to have to shuffle them around to another piece because you're not going to be able to use it once you put this bad boy on.
Yeah, I mean, basically this season, I mean, your Surge Detonator, your Energy Accelerant, your Sundering Blast, your Unstoppable Shorts Child, Condenser, your Glacial Inheritance all sit alongside that Breach and Clear. So you're either breaching and clearing, or you're doing anything else.
No, you're just breaching and clearing. There's no or, okay? Don't give people false hope. There's no or. There is just breach and clear.
Thundering Blast and stuff is still stupidly good in this. In the right
I guarantee everybody that's going to be going for the world's first is probably going to have at least one person with breach and clear, if not more.
Well, yeah, I mean, for world's first, absolutely, but for everyday life, yeah.
Yeah. Also, no, Nightfall ordeals, right? All of the end game activity outside of PvP, somebody's going to have this on. I can almost promise you.
Well, yeah, I'm saying not everyone's running it, likely. Other people run other things. You'll have a good mix of things. But yeah, the number of mods and stuff you have for grenade launchers is just ridiculous. Like they really are just like all in on use all the. It's silly.
Season of the grenade launcher, love it.
And if you want to check out Fallout Plays' video on that, we'll have a link in the show notes if you want to check out all the different mods, and he goes over in a little bit more depth and detail than us.
Yep.
Which is surprising because I thought you'd be the one to go over every little bit of piece.
Look, he's more professional. He knows what he's talking about. We just relay the information, tell people where to find the best information.
All you got to do is read the
on.
video, regurgitate what he says, and act like you know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
plagiarism? Yeah.
Yeah. So Nitedemon, where might I find if I'm looking for my new Firefly perk? Where could I find that? What does that come with this season?
Many weapons this season
So many.
come with the new Firefly perk. Well, they say it's new Firefly. It's probably going to be the original Firefly perk from Destiny 1. But you can roll on the Fatebringer, the Time Lost version of the Fatebringer, which is from the Vault of Glass raid. And I'm guessing the Time Lost versions are the ones from the challenge mode. Your Hung Jury SR4 and your Hung Jury SR4 Adept version.
Nice.
Praedyth's Revenge, which is your sniper rifle from the raid, and the Time Lost version of that. Vision of Confluence and the Vision of Confluence Time Lost version. The Corrective Measure and the Corrective Measure Time Lost. So a lot of the new Vault of Glass stuff and the Hung Juror. So there you go.
Yeah, so basically, yeah, either run your Nightfall for your Hung Jury or play Vault of Glass if you want things with Firefly on them.
And it looks like the Fatebringer, Hung Juror, and Praedyth's Revenge, which is your sniper rifle. So that's sniper rifle, Hung Juror is your scout rifle, and Fatebringer is your hand cannon. They all are going to be in your kinetic slot. And then Vision of Confluence is going to be your energy slot, and Corrective Measure is your machine gun. Corrective Measure machine gun is your heavy. So yeah. And if you are interested in the Vault of Glass, there is going to be a Vault of Glass bundle that you can get from I'm guessing from not Eververse, but from like whichever storefront it is, Steam, Xbox. Every season they seem to kind of do this. There's an emote bundle with some silver available, and you can purchase the Throne of Atheon emote bundle, and you will receive an exotic emote along with 1,100 silver, which you can use to purchase season cosmetics and more, and that will be available on 21st of May.
Oh yeah, how much does that cost in whatever currency you're looking at?
I believe it was about $12.99 in the UK for the last
about
bundle.
15 US, give or take.
About that.
Yeah.
And it just looks like you're kind of the emote just looks like you're sitting down in front of like the Vault of Glass triangle. But I could be wrong. It could be something completely different, but that's what the image shows me.
Yeah,
So
wonder if
that's what I'm telling you.
similar to the one from Callus where you sit or recline in the big chair and swirl your drink around. Something that vein, maybe.
This one looks more regal, like you're sitting in the throne, though.
Mm-hmm.
What is next, Peroty, to tell the lovely people?
Oh, Well, it's some interesting information from the Charlemagne bot, who, again, because there's been a lot of discussion about stasis and PvP and everything. And, Charlemagne bot, which is just wonderful and keeps stats and does all sorts of fun things in Discord and other places. And you can go to warmind.io to, see what this bot is and how it works. Says, I assume as a human being and the bot hasn't become sentient, I'd like to inject some data into the discussion of stasis. On average, and excluding orbit and social spaces, about 14% of all Destiny activity is PvP, 6% is Gambit.
Oh, that?
About 80 is various PvE. Yeah, I mean, it's basically about an 80-20 split. Is 80% of people are playing PvE, about 15% in PvP, and about 5% in Gambit.
Okay, you're reading something else. So I saw something come across. I didn't save it, but I saw something come across that says what people spend their time doing in Destiny. It said like 10% PvP, 20 or 30% PvE, and then 90% emoting in the tower. And yeah, you can do that math. Obviously, it checks out. And I just thought that that's what you were about to read because I found that hilarious. Just like most of your time is just sitting in the tower emoting.
I think this is quite interesting because there have been quite a lot of content creators out there that have, and I think, was it Ascendant Nomad started a very long Twitter thread discussing stasis and actually removing it from PvP. And Paul Tassie's jumped on this and he's done a video. And if you're interested, I will link it in the show notes.
Yeah,
Basically saying that they want stasis removed from PvP. It's come to the point where, it should be removed, blah, blah, blah. But then on the other side of the coin, you have people like Mercules and Kit Catcher from the Massive Breakdown podcast this week that basically said, why are we removing it from PvP? What is the complete stress about with having this in PvP? It's part of the game. It's enjoyable. Stop just like
I mean,
content creators.
If you're going to do that, then remove shotguns from PvP because people hate shotguns, right? I mean,
no, but what they're saying is that these content creators are going on to make videos and speak out about these things, saying that we want this removed from Crucible. But who's the we? You're speaking for your own point of view, and maybe a few others that follow you, and other people that you've talked to that all are in agreement with you. It's not a large percent of the population, which is what Peroty was kind of pointing out. That 14% of Destiny players in these activities in PvP are using stasis. The rest are using something else. Right. But yes, I think.
I mean, 14% of people are playing PvP. It's of all the people playing the game, only 14% of people are in PvP sort of at any given time. And yeah, obviously it's still however many hundreds of thousands of people that is. But, and their point is sort of it needs to be tuned, not removed. And they had a point that I've now just lost in my brain.
Yeah, but I mean, if they're going to start complaining about stuff like that, then if we're going to be removing things that are in the game from one mode only, then I'd like to start with shotguns. Take away from these shotgun.
You don't get
ape.
No, this isn't. Hunters. You get to choose. This, I think, Kate Catcher and Mercules did have a very good and valued point to basically say, these people that are making these videos and saying that we want this removed, they're speaking for a small minority of people that actually want this removed. And yes, you have your own views on it. And I think I haven't jumped into Crucible this week apart from playing Scorched, but I think it's always every time something new gets introduced, like we've got these new stasis aspects and fragments introduced again, and unfortunately it's baked into this whole year of them introducing stasis.
Yeah.
They've got to introduce it and then they've got to tone it down. I think by the end of the year we'll get something that's kind of a bit more stable, that everybody kind of, or majority of people actually agree with, that it's toned down to. But they can't spend the time and resources implementing these aspects and fragments that they'd already planned like 6 months to a year ago to implement, and have the time and resources to nerf them to the point of them being underwhelming rather than overwhelming when they come out the gate. I think we are kind of the test bunnies for this. We're being tested of how much it is kind of affecting PvP, PvE, and then they'll tune it. So unfortunately, we're being tested of how much we can use it. And I think Mercules and that were saying that if you enjoy it, carry on playing the game modes, but if you don't enjoy it, don't play the game modes, because then that speaks more volumes to Bungie. Because if you're not in those activities using those things, they will see those numbers rather than people shouting on Twitter, shouting on Reddit, shouting on YouTube and saying, me and my community want this taken out of the game. So I think that was quite a good valid point that they had.
Yep. Yeah, and that's the point I was trying to get to. Yeah, because they had a listener question who literally asked, I'm not a content creator. How can I get be heard by Bungie? Yeah, and they said, just play the game, because Bungie's going to say, oh, Twitter is screaming and YouTubers are screaming, and they're going to go, well, we're not seeing the numbers dip. The PvP community is, we're not seeing huge drop offs day over day or week over week. It's about where it was. So people aren't leaving in droves. They're not quitting the game forever because of stasis. They're like, yeah, there's a vocal minority, but for the most part, people are playing and enjoying it. So that's what Bungie's looking at, more so than a few people screaming about it.
Indubitably.
So apparently,
yeah,
there has been found an infinite Titan Sunbreaker super glitch with the bottom tree, and we will link in the show notes for you to have a look at. What triggers it is still unknown of right now. So if you know how to do it, keep it to yourself. That's probably the best advice. So if you want to check that out, we'll link that in the show notes.
I mean, I don't know about keep it to yourself. You could always message us here, two Titans and Hunters. So yeah, keep us in the loop.
We'd share it with the peoples. We'd share it with the peoples, and then other peoples would know, and then Bungie would be looking for it.
No, we could keep it to ourselves. Look, guys, if you love us, tell us your secrets. I won't tell you.
Tell him. He's not even a Titan. There's no point in telling him.
This is more of an in general kind of thing. Not limited to this particular secret.
Is it going to be 3 Titans and no Hunters?
No, never. Unless you get rid of me, that's never going to happen. Nope. HFL, buddy. HFL. You know what that stands for? Probably a lot of things. But in this instance, it means Hunter for life.
Lovely.
Yes.
Something funny I came across on Reddit this week, posted by Lost Conscious 96. Today I learned not to use Sleeper with stasis. Now this poor guy...
Okay, no, go ahead. Continue.
Was in the middle of doing a public event on Europa and killing all the Vex, trying to get to the Conflux, and suddenly he throws down his stasis wall grenade and uses Sleeper Simulant, thinking that it's going to shoot straight through and kill all the Vex that he's frozen in his ice wall. But no, the thing ricochets about 5 times back and just kills him instantly.
To be fair, it did break the ice he shot, though. Let's give credit where credit is due. The ice that he shot, it did break. So
I just want a public service announcement for everybody out there. Just be aware that it will ricochet using Sleeper Simulant. If people weren't aware of that. So it's like the new Titan
2.0.
Something else that was pointed out on Reddit this week, which I came across. And, well, I mean, I realised it in game, and I'm not sure if anybody else had noticed it, by the explosive tortilla. Just noticed that they changed the look of the Warmind cells for this season. Nice touch, Bungie. So before they were kind of a bit more of a Warlock flame ball from season 10 to 13. Now they look more like a Warmind ball with a solar flare in the middle kind of thing. Very interesting. Nice touch, as he says. And Too Much Sauce 47 over on Reddit says, just in case you didn't know, Crimson plus Overload hand cannon is a 1 burst stun. So this is anybody that's trying to stun champions. You can use your Crimson with Overload, and it's a 1 burst stun, which is quite nice. And then somebody then goes on to say Thorn is great as well, and that's
because they take damage.
Timux, sort of similar to the Monarch from last season. Thorn and Necrotic Grips is really effective for area control as well, and that's a Alvark.
Also, like I said earlier, the if you happen to have it, the Divinity is phenomenal for Overload champions. It really is. Because, once you pop them, they start taking more damage anyway, and the Divinity gives you that crit spot, so you crit on top of the extra damage. It melts Overloads. So if you have it, definitely use that. It's also really good because the Divinity helps you not have to run double primaries. So, there you go.
Fair enough. Point out by Not Me Flare on Reddit. under the raid secrets, the new Warlock exotics make noble rounds for Lumina too. So I just got the new exotics, and it looks like you can either get a Lumina noble round for healing / buff a teammate or placing down a rift. Degrading Bot 11 says my clanmate tested the range using Darcy and said it was about 40 meters.
They do have a really nutty reach. I was playing with a guy the other night that had him on. It feels like cross map, if I'm being honest with you. It really does feel like cross map.
And Dr. Bones 1129 went on to say, my friend and I actually found the max range to be 40 to 45 meters in total. It has to flow towards you a bit to get the range and then goes out a bit further. So that was interesting. There is a video that I found later on that goes in a bit more detail by Fallout. The Star Eater Scales enables Golden Gun to deal more damage than Celestial Nighthawk.
It
So
sure does.
This is by Profane Wings over on Destiny the Game on Reddit. Just got the boots and tested them immediately on Kali. I had no debuffs or buffs outside of the buffs from the exotics provided. Celestial itself does 218k to Kali. Star Eater Scales does 256k to Kali when you have 4 times of its buff. So, rest in peace, Celestial Nighthawk. Edit.
Yep.
People are asking how the exotic works, so here's a quick rundown. Orbs generate more super energy, seems to be 1.5 times increased super energy gain. Once your super is charged, you can continue to pick up orbs to generate a buff for your super. The buff increases the damage of your super and heals you when you use the super. Stacks up to 4 times, and when at 4 times, the healing buff
And it
becomes...
gives you an overshield.
The buff seemingly doesn't disappear until you activate your super. The buff is approximately 60% more damage at times 4. So you've used this, haven't you, at the moment?
I'm currently using it. Yeah, I've been using it since it came out. A couple of things to correct. Number one, it gives you an overshield when you pop it. I don't think it heals you, but it definitely gives you an overshield. And you do lose the buff if you die, right? So you lose the buff if you use your super or if you die. Another thing is the overshield aspect of it will last until you have utilized all of your super. Same thing with the super damage buff, right? You have it until the super is finished. So, it's really, really good. It's also really good for bottom tree tether. It increases your stasis tornado damage. I mean, it's so good. No matter what. I mean, you could just replace almost every exotic with this. The only thing that I'm a little doubtful for is he said bye-bye Celestial Nighthawk. Fair enough, it does more damage than Celestial Nighthawk, but the really good thing about Celestial Nighthawk is if you kill something with the shot that you use, you get 30% of your super back immediately.
Is it not more about 50% now?
What's that?
Is it not about 50% with Celestial, or it is 30?
What do you mean?
You got half your super back.
No, you get 30 now. It's capped at 30.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. But I mean, still, and then most of the time, people use it with bottom tree Celestial or bottom tree Golden Gun, right? So, whenever you get precision hits, or is it precision kills? When you get precision something, I can't remember. I'd have to go back and look. It also increases the speed at which you get your super back, right? So Celestial Nighthawk not only lets your Golden Gun do more damage, it also lets your Golden Gun crit, so doing extra damage on top of that, and freaking you got 30% of your super back, and if you're using it on bottom tree Golden Gun, you got your super back even faster. So you could literally spam one-shot Golden Guns if you wanted to. So there's a lot of perks to go with the Celestial that this one doesn't match. I mean, it gives you a different set of perks, but I don't think Celestial Nighthawk's going to go away just like that, for the diehard users. But it's very good. It's very, 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 very good. So, whatever.
So, some kind of breaking news. Thank you to Glaze Panda 80 over on the ramen shop from Not Arf's Clan, the Cade Spacey Ramen Smugglers. He's pointed out that there are new rewards for the Amazon Prime exotic bundles. So I can tell you that this month you have the Vigilance Wing exotic, the Book of the Dead ornament for the Vigilance Wing exotic.
Nice.
The Ravager's Ride exotic Sparrow, and the House of Light projection for a legendary ghost. So if you are signed up for the Amazon Prime and you've linked your Bungie.net account, you can now claim those new rewards. So thank you very much, Glaze Panda, for that. Moving on to the other stuff that we've got this week from loads and loads of info dumps. We have information on the Vex Mythoclast. So this is the exotic fusion rifle. It's going to be shooting solar, and it's going to be available from the Vault of Glass, probably from the final encounter. That's normally that was when Destiny 1. That's when we were able to get it. It was just from the final encounter from killing Atheon. So it has an impact of 33, a range of 41, stability of 19, reload speed of 64, handling of 55, zoom of 15, inventory size of 40, an aim assist of 100%, and a recoil direction of 80.
Wow. 100%.
So it's going to be kicking up either to the left or the right slightly. The perks on it are the Timeless Mythoclast. This weapon fires a single bolt with each trigger pull. Arrowhead Break, which is greatly increases recoil, increases handling speed. Volatile Battery. This battery simultaneously exists in multiple timelines, causing the weapon to overcharge, greatly increases the magazine size. Then we have Temporal Unlimiter. Defeating targets builds stacks of overcharge, swapping fire modes when fully overcharged. In alternate firing modes, hold the trigger to charge up and fire more powerful linear fusion rifle shot. So this was the one that we were kind of I think we were talking about the other week when they were saying about some of these perks that are coming into the game. So it looks like you can kind of kill something, get an overcharge shot, and very much like we have with that exotic sidearm that we've got this season, that you can get a kill and then you can fire an overcharged shot that will probably use the rest of your magazine.
Yep, sounds like it.
And hand laid stock, this weapon is optimized for recoil control, extremely stable. So there you go. That's the exotic fusion rifle that you can get from doing the Vault of Glass.
Well, see, okay, so I wanted to talk to you about this now that it's up, right? I was hoping beyond hope that they'd give us the auto rifle version, because I even brought it up before. I was like, they're probably going to give it to us the way that, like, they're going to pull the Whisper of the Worm, right? They're going to give it to us in its best form, like it did in D1, and then nerf it in the same way that they did in D1. So I was expecting that to happen, but instead they've changed how the whole weapon works from the get-go. So in D1, for those that don't know, the Mythoclast was a fusion rifle, right? Imagine Queensbreaker's bow, but full auto, right? That's what it was. It was a full auto Queensbreaker's bow, and it was amazing, right? And then Bungie nerfed it. What they do? Nerf the damage of it or something like that? I forgot how they nerfed it, but they nerfed it. And I was expecting to get it back in its full auto form. Nope. Instead, it is a single shot, fast firing fusion rifle that you can turn into a linear fusion rifle after doing a thing with it, right? So that, to me, has kind of crushed my hopes for this weapon. How do you feel about the changes that they've made to the Mythoclast?
Until I get it in my hands, I'm not going to be 100% sure, because it could be auto firing, but
No, they say that's not what they say. Look at the description. It says one trigger pull, one shot gets fired.
Yeah, but
yeah, that's not full auto.
But that was for the. Okay,
for the
timeless class thing. Yeah, I mean they've changed that, but that just means a bit like a scout rifle. I've got to pull the trigger a bit more times.
Yeah, but the whole point about the Vex is it was full auto. You know what I mean? I mean they've taken the full auto aspect away from it. I mean they've given us a different Vex Mythoclast. It's not the same. They shouldn't have given us the Vex Mythoclast this way. They should have given us another Vault of Class, based on the Vex Mythoclast, right? Say, hey, this is the Time Worn Mythoclast or whatever, something different, right? But the fact that they're giving it the exact same name and completely changing how it works, I don't like, man. This is not the Vex Mythoclast, and no matter how you look at it, it's not the Mythoclast, right? It's not.
This is going back.
I don't think they should have called it that.
Had with Lord Cognito on The Last Word, when they were talking about the Hawkmoon coming back, and because they were removing the Luck in the Chamber perk and whatever the other one was that made the Hawkmoon,
Yep.
I think Ebontis was saying it's not the Hawkmoon that's coming back; it's a version of something that they're calling the
Yeah.
Hawkmoon. So
No,
it's very much
I
the same
concur.
vein,
Yeah.
very much in the same vein. I think the problem is they should leave those weapons in the Destiny 1 area. If they're going to change them, they should leave
Call
them
them
in
something
there
else,
else. Yeah, I totally agree
at
with you.
least. Yeah. I mean, if you want to bring back something, you can say, "Hey, this was, inspired by the Vex Mythoclast or whatever," right? But bringing us a completely different weapon and calling it something that we already know what it is, that's like a slap in the face, in my opinion, right? Other people might just be like, "Oh, it's not that big a deal" or whatever, but for me, it
Maybe
is. You
tie
know?
into the you tie into the lore that with Guardians have gone back to the Vault of Glass. They've acquired the Vex Mythoclast, but over time it's broken. You have to then take it back to Banshee, who then fixes it and gives it back to you in a fixed form, where he says, "I cannot, I can't repair the damage that was done to the auto firing trigger mechanism on it, but I've given it to you in this form. It can now do this." If they tie it into the lore or they tie it into the story somehow of, yes, you've acquired the Vex Mythoclast, but it's had to be altered because it's a broken weapon and it can only be fixed to this in Destiny 2. I could accept that. That would make sense.
Well,
You've
you
got
can
that
accept
weapon.
it, but it's still not the weapon, right? I get what you're saying. You tie it into the lore, how it works, or whatever. But
Mm.
lore, after what they did to my boy, the auto rifle, right? Lore doesn't mean anything to me anymore. They've broken my soul when it comes to lore, right?
Spirit.
They've taken a gun where the lore specifically says no damage fall off and given it damage fall off. So now I don't even care what the lore is in this case because it's
Give it a try
BS.
and see what it's like.
I mean, it's still going to be good. I don't doubt it's not going to be good, but it's not the Vex Mythoclast. That's the point I'm making, right? I'm not saying it's not going to be
No,
good. I'm saying it's not the Vex Mythoclast.
and I'm
Don't call
agreeing
it
with
that.
you.
Call it something
I'm
else.
agreeing with you. I agree with
Yeah.
you. So if you want to get the Vex Mythoclast Catalyst, don't know how you can actually get that, but maybe it drops at Banshee. Maybe once you've got it and you've got a couple
Maybe
of
that'll
kills,
make it full auto.
no, the perk on it is calculated balance, which gives you higher stacks of the overcharge, increasing stability, and the objective for that is to defeat 700 targets. So once you get the catalyst, you then have to defeat 700 targets to get the perk unlocked. Deathbringer has now got a catalyst in the game, and I got it at the end of I think it was just a general strike. It dropped for me. Other people are saying they're getting it from Crucible
I got it from a
matches,
strike too.
Nightfalls, and things like that. So this will give you the dead weight perk, increases how quickly Dark Descendant reaches its full potential.
Dark Descent basically is you have to fire. This is a rocket launcher that you have to fire above your target, right? And it's one of those hold the trigger, release to detonate type of things, right? So as long as you hold the trigger, the projectile will fly. Once you release it, the projectile will split and begin falling to the ground in the form of multiple projectiles, right? And the further they fall up to a certain distance, the more powerful they are when they hit the target. And there's a meager amount of tracking on it. The tracking on it is very subpar for what the weapon was designed to do, in my opinion. But there is at least some level of tracking when it comes to these projectiles falling on the ground, right? And what this catalyst is going to do is you're going to be able to shoot it above a target's head, but not as high as you had to before. And they'll reach their maximum damage at a lower falling distance than it currently does. Is that about right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So once you've got the catalyst, you don't have to slot it in anymore. It's just there. So you have to defeat 400 targets. So at the moment, there are a couple of things that you can do with the override missions, with unlocking you get a chest sometimes to spawn with more heavy ammo. There are a couple of nodes that you can unlock for that will kind of get you.
Well, I mean,
that.
look at the artifact. You get scavenger and finder on the artifact, don't you? Or one of those?
Yeah.
For rocket
Something
launches
like
this season? Yeah.
something like that. But then you can also,
Yeah.
you could put 2 or 3 on your thing. So you can always run with that. So good luck with that, anybody.
Yeah.
Something I wanted to point out to people with the seasonal challenges coming back each week, there is a seasonal challenge for whatever the Crucible mode is. So don't know whether next week it's going to be Showdown or it's going to be an Iron Banner one. Could be either or. But just to let you know that this week is Sacred Scorched, which is defeating Guardians in Team Scorched, earning bonus progress for charging detonations. So you have to defeat 50. And the only reason I'm pointing this out to people is that sometimes these game modes only come up like 2 or 3 times in the month that we have the season. So don't sleep on these ones. If these are the things that come up in the season challenge for that week, see if you can get those things done and out of the way, because at the end of the season, you can do all those Gambit ones that say defeat 50 blockers, blah, 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 all in like the space of 1 week, and they will all auto complete. Whereas Team Scorched, Showdown, Iron Banner are 1 week events for maybe 3 or 4 times in that season. So those are the things not to kind of sleep on. Just
Fair
want to
enough.
kind of remind people of that, because that's what I'm like. I like to remind people.
You do like to remind people. British Faja.
I've got a couple of good guides on the new helm and the Splicer gauntlet that you can get for focusing for your overrides and things like that. But a couple of things that I wanted to kind of just point out to people with the Splicer gauntlet upgrade that you can get when you go and visit the servitor in the helm is that the decryption data that you get from doing the override missions. The first top track is like 100 decryption data. The second track is 300, and the bottom track is 500. The main ones that you want to kind of look out for are the 2 on the top to start off with. The first one you want to kind of look out for is the override efficiency. Now, on this one, it's the second one along on the top tier on the green track. It says override chests have increased rewards. Standard Vex chests have a higher chance to drop seasonal gear. Conflux chests have higher chance to drop Umbral engrams and can drop up to 2 focus Umbral engrams per week. But what it doesn't tell you is that the decryption data that you get from running the override missions is also increased. So I believe when you do run those missions, you get, I think it's 30 decryption data.
I think it's 35, isn't it?
I think if you purchase the first green node, it goes up to 35.
Oh,
you
that's why I'm getting that.
purchase
Gotcha.
Override Efficiency 2, which is the blue version, which is the 300 decryption data, it then goes up to 45. And then I believe if you can then purchase the tier 3, which is the legendary, the purple one, for 500 data, that then goes up to 55 decryption data. So that might be the best one to kind of purchase to start off with. And then the next one that you want to kind of look out for, I mean, I purchased that Override Efficiency 1, and then I moved on to the last one on the top track that is next to the one that's got the lock next to it, which is Memory Expansion. So the Memory Expansion gives the Gauntlet Ether cap is increased by 50, and the key code capacity is increased from, I think it's 3 to 4. The next one down is from 4 to 5, and then the Memory 3, the purple one, is from 5 to 6. And again, it increases your ether cap as well. But if you're running these and then just running, like at the moment, I think this week it's strikes, isn't it? That seems to be the focus for getting more decryption or more ether. I think it's ether, isn't it, to start off with?
Let me check for you. It is, yep. Ether.
So if you go into your Splicer Gauntlet in your quest sections,
Yep.
it says on the front of it that you've got so many ether out of, say, 100 or 150 and so many key codes. You can actually go into it and you can select as many key codes as much as you've got ether for. So you can store those up and then go and collect more ether and then go into the override, deplete those ones, and then hit another 3 ether or 4 ether, depends on how much you've kind of saved up. So you can kind of charge up your Splicer Gauntlet as and when. So that was quite cool.
Yeah, just like the hammer from last season.
Yeah. But with the hammer, you could only put 1 charge in there at a time. With this one, you can actually put the charge in, keep it, and it goes into how many of the little gold squares that you've got.
Yeah. I don't know how that's different from last season, but I'll take your word for it. Because my memory is not to be trusted, as anybody can tell you.
Well, last season, with the hammer charge, you could only put 1 hammer mod in at a time.
Oh,
then
I
you'd
see what
have
you're saying. And then you'd have to run it and
run it.
then slot another one. Okay, yeah. And this one I can just slot 3 at a time. I got you.
Yeah.
I got
And
you.
you
I
could
got
just
you. I follow
be
you.
back to back, unlock the chests, and then
Yep.
carry on doing whatever you were kind of doing.
I'm tracking. I'm tracking.
Fair enough. The other thing I wanted to kind of point out to people was if you do go and unlock your new subclass aspect from whatever quest you've done. So I was really confused because I was like, where is this new aspect? Because I've got a drop down box and
Oh,
you
the
go,
arrow? Dude, that threw me for a loop too.
so I thought, because I was hovering over the different aspects, I didn't see the arrow that's off to the right. And it
Yep.
wasn't until I kind of came off to the side that there's a little arrow that you'd think in a drop down box it would be in a drop down box, but no, it goes off to the right.
That would
and you
make
have to-
way too much sense. How dare
Yeah.
you?
I thought that something had glitched. I was looking on Reddit to see if anybody else had this issue.
Yeah, I was looking for bugs.
Nobody
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
This arrow off to the side. So I just thought I'd kind of point people at that. Is that just there's an arrow. Just yeah.
I was looking, I was like, did I complete it? Did I have another step? I don't see the step. I went back to talk to her again. I was like, yo, where's my stuff? And I was freaking out. I was getting pissed. I was gonna be like, oh no. Oh no. I usually have pretty good RNG when it comes to not hitting bugs. And I was like, did they finally get me? Did Bungie be like, hey, it's your turn for a mission bug? I was like, no, I don't want the bug. I want to be bugless. Leave me alone. But yeah, no, that arrow definitely caught me off guard too. I couldn't find it. I couldn't find my aspect anyway. But now, like as a hunter, I can rock like four aspects now, dude. Not aspects, 4 fragments now. So
Yep.
I'm digging that, dude. I'm really digging that whole four fragment kind of life.
Hmm.
Yep.
So also with your Splice servitor, you can pick up bounties, but they don't actually give you XP towards ranking up your bounties or ranking up your servitor. They just rank up your XP, which I suppose does help with ranking up with your season pass or your season track, because I believe it's on, I think there's on rank 2 of the pay track, you can get some decryption data. And I think it's like 100 or 150.
You get it 2 and then 12 and then 32. Wow, it's just a 20 jump between those two. And that's it, I believe.
Yeah. That is it. So you get 3 lots there, but there are also, you can also access on your quest tab on your seasonal challenge. Normally the main 2 on the top of the page, like they did last season, will award you quite a big bundle like we had with the hammer charges last season.
Yep,
And
150. Yep, yes,
150 for each. So for this week, you've got Hello World, which is complete the path of the Splicer and defeat Alpha Cabal. And I wasn't aware that they dropped in the override mission, so I went off and did some of the hammer things. What are they called now? I can't remember. Only a week ago I was playing those things. Oh
Nice.
jeez. What are they called? Respawn.
What are you asking about, dude?
The hammer things. The battlegrounds. That's what I was asking.
Oh,
And then did battlegrounds to defeat the high level Cabal, but yeah, they do drop in the override mission, which is really weird. So that was quite fun.
Such a troll. What are they called? What is what called? The thing I don't remember. How am I supposed to know?
Maximum override, which is complete 5 of the override missions, and the data spikes deposited was quite a long and lengthy thing. I just kept trying to steal everybody's motes from all over the floor. I wasn't actually killing at some point. I was just like running towards the motes on the floor. I need to get 100%.
Yeah.
So next week we'll have another couple. Probably the next 2 or 3 weeks we'll have quite big chunks of those ether things. They're not the ether things. The data options. Yeah, they'll do that to kind of get you going. So that was quite interesting. But also with the Splicer servitor, there are 7 new mods that are available. That are the wells that they're kind of bringing in. So we've got wall mine cells, and we now have wells dropping all over the floor. And most of these are kind of picking up elemental wells grant you energy for your abilities. For the lowest current energy, picking up elemental wells with elements that match your subclass type grants you energy to all of your abilities. So you have the first one, which is Reaping Wellmaker. After activating your class ability, your next weapon final blow spawns a void element. Well of Tennessee, pick up a void elemental well, reduces the damage you take from combatants for a short period of time. So that's the next one on the track. Then we have Explosive Wellmaker. Rapidly defeating combatants with explosive damage spawns a solar elemental well. Well of Life, we have pick up solar elemental wells grants an increased regeneration for a short period of time. Overload Wellmaker, defeating combatant with a finisher spawns 2 arc elemental wells.
Nice.
Well of Ions, picking up an arc elemental well causes your next melee to deal increased damage. Interesting. That could be a good one for
Hunters.
I think that works in PvP as well. That'd be good for Titans. Running around with
Be
their
good for
inflatable
hunters
stuff.
too with our dodge ability where we get the melee back.
Yeah, and the gauntlets that you can stab people 1,000 times with.
Oh yeah, that too.
Shield Crash Wellmaker. Breaking a shield with the matching weapon type creates an elemental well. So those are your 7 for this season. So we'll probably get more as time goes by. Apparently, when you're doing the override mission and you're in that final kind of boss arena, there is a goblin that can spawn that will drop more of this data. that
Loot
you need.
goblin. Yeah, it looks like so far he's dropping about 4 stacks of 5, so an extra 20 if you can find him and kill him. You'll know which one he is because he's glowing. He's a special goblin. He's a glowy goblin. You walk up and you slap him in the face with your sword, and you get to reap the benefits.
So that'll give you more key code stuff, won't it? For your
It sure will.
for upgrading your servitor in the helm.
Yep.
So
Something like that.
Paul Tassie's been doing many tests and he's watched 3 different people do the data spikes and it didn't spawn the bonus goblin. So it ain't that, he says. But DMG says appearance of the loot goblin is a chance. It comes and goes as it pleases. Data spikes increases your chance, so dunk away. So that's when I think it's pick up, is it 10 motes and you bank the 10 motes that you
Correct.
kind of get a data spike?
Yep.
So it's always best to pick up as many as you can, which is the 10. I thought it was going to be 15 like it was with some of the other Gambit-like activities that we've had on the planets. But it is
Same.
10 motes and then go and bank. It also then spawns the chests where you can get the heavy ammo. So once you bank the 10 motes in the override, it'll give you a heavy chest, and every person that does that, it'll refresh the chest. So it's best to save up 10, go and dunk those, and then you have a chance at this loot goblin appearing in the final room, which is quite
Yep.
interesting.
I've played a lot of that game activity, and I still have yet to see him.
Yeah, me too. I mean,
Sad
I've
face
unlocked
for
quite a
me.
bit of my ether, my override servitor. Bless him in his little cotton socks.
I have not. I've only unlocked 2 parts because I'm saving up to get the where it gives you extra loot from the chests because I like getting my armor and loot up front.
But
Before
if you
everything
do it the
else.
way that I've kind of explained to you, of doing those different nodes in that order, you'll get more of the ether to drop.
Yeah, no, I get that. I totally get that. But my thing, I'm not really concerned with ether. I'm concerned with how many things I can get from the chest at once. So,
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
if you-
that's how it is for me every season. You know.
But if you upgrade the gauntlet in that specific way, you'll get more decrypted data to unlock more nodes to then unlock more abilities to get more engrams and more loot to drop at the end. Just be
Yeah.
more efficient.
Efficient.
I'm trying to help you get there faster so that you can go off and play other games towards the end of the season, as you
I
like
don't
to
play
do.
the games anyway. Can't stop me. Can't stop believing. Wait, that's not how that works.
No, because it's not a week for singing. It's a week for giving the information.
It's a week for giving, gentlemen.
I've talked
it's
a lot
like
about various
Christmas.
different things that I've found. So it's back over to you with your Respawns Report Roundup.
Let's go Respawn's Report Roundup. First of all, everybody, Don't be afraid. You're not having a stroke just because you can smell toast. It's because there is a new emblem this season called Burnt Edges, which suggests that the long-awaited Destiny toaster might be coming soon. So yeah, you're not having a stroke just because you smell burnt toast. All right, guys. Joe D'Angelo asks, why isn't the trial shader flawless shader in transmog for those who have gone flawless? DMG says, currently can only be retained on armor earned through flawless runs. Dun, dun, dun! Oh, you've been to the lighthouse? Ha ha! That's what they're saying. Cool. Excellent. All right, going back up to the top, we have... I'm not even going to try that. Yes, at Paul Tassi. I'm back in at... oh, that's her. Okay, that's what you were talking about earlier. Okay, cool. Boop, bop, beep, bam. Okay. G1 Gigs says, Icarus Dash no longer working while being slowed is just mind-blowing to me. Making that change without including it in patch notes is a big no-no. Stealth changes should not be a thing. Cosmo says, sometimes patch notes get missed. It was definitely not intentional, as it's pretty obvious players are going to notice a sandbox change. This was always a bug and was fixed this season, but I'll share the feedback that you would rather Icarus Dash still work while slowed. Thank you. It's a tweet. Cosmo says, we are seeing reports that some players are able to get a sneak peek at crossplay. This isn't meant to be live yet and is not representative of the full experience. We will be implementing a fix to remove public access later this week, but in the meantime, feel free to partake. Reggie Cake says, at DMG, at Cosmo, at Bungie Help, I'm seeing a lot of mixed results, so please confirm that crossplay is available. I have very mixed clan, and we're eager to dive in. Cosmo replied to that one. Diocene? You know what, dude? Get a better name. Why is the Titan gold for the Guardian Games statue? Cosmo says it's a bug, as Hunter's clearly won. Not the biggest priority right now, with some other issues still going on, but we will fix it, Cosmo. You know what? Remember when I said you took a step up? You've gone back 2 steps, bro. Saying that the Hunter trophy is not a priority after all the smack Titans have been giving us for their air quotes win. No, that should have been at the top of your to-do list, bud. How dare you say it's not a priority? DMG says Sleeper Simulant versus LFR buffs. So LFR means linear fusion rifles, for those that don't know. Looks like it received a small buff, but it was unintentionally less than the other linear fusion rifles. Team is looking to take another pass on the weapon in a future update. Stay tuned for info from the team when we have things ready to ship. Yanes.
Yanis.
Shut up. It's Yanes. Can't say much, but we're actively trying adjustments to stasis. We know it's... Oh, I'm sorry. He's replying to somebody. Okay. G1 Gig says, I think I can speak for most of the hardcore PvP community when I say that slow shouldn't also be a suppression. I would rather not be frozen or slowed from a non-super at all at this point. In a playlist with stasis disabled would be amazing. A playlist with shotguns disabled would also be amazing. Thank you, sir. Also, they have playlists like that. It's called Scorched. Bruh. Yeah. Play it. Anyway, Kevin Yane says, can't say much, but we're actively trying to adjust some stasis. We know it's too hot and needs to be knocked down many pegs. Our focus for the next few balance updates are to shift more and more focus of PvP gameplay towards guns. Again, more on that in the future. That'd be nice. I like gun game better than ability game. Joe Blackburn says, sorry, setting up the Guardian Games trophy is traditionally responsibility of the class Vanguard. Small oversight there. Cosmo says the false Guardian Games trophy has been pushed off the tower and replaced with the real trophy, showcasing the Hunter V. Cool. Now these are good too right here. That's pretty good. Oh, hold on. Goes together to make a thing. Okay. Destiny News, Unified Front, Greasy Palms, and Reborn in Flames emblem icons, when put together, look like a map of some kind. Uh-oh! Do we have a secret in the game? Also, those color schemes are nice, aren't they? What do you think? I think those are nice color schemes.
Yeah.
I like those.
So what are these emblems?
They are Unified Front, Greasy Palms, and Reborn in Flames. Yeah. That's what they are. I don't know where they come from.
You don't know where they come
Destiny news. New Bungie. Sorry, new colon. Bungie has added a new emblem called 10/950 Days to celebrate the company's 30th anniversary this year. Don't care. Destiny news. New colon. First look at the new Solstice of Heroes 2021 armor sets. Hunter, Illuminus, Titans, Sunsteed, Warlock, Celestine, whatever. That looks awful. Yeah, I'm gonna say it. That looks awful. What do you think about your Titan one, where it looks like you're wearing a Warlock skirt up there, bud?
Oh, we'll have to wait until
Huh?
we get it. You know, these are just kind of mock-ups at the moment, aren't they? So
Yeah.
I always like that we had with the data leaks the other week. Take it with a grain of salt, you know, or
I mean,
pinch of
take it with a
salt.
grain of salt, but look at the Hunter's shoulders. Okay, so look at the Hunter shoulders with the frills. Look at the Hunter waist with the frills. Look at the Hunter cape and boots with the frills. Why are the Hunters so frilly? We don't like frills. We're not a frilly type of class. Frills should be reserved for Warlocks, all right? Not Hunters. Hunters, we don't need frills, all right? Right, guys? We don't need frills. Destiny news. New Vault of Glass Raid Exotic ship. You have to complete Vault of Glass on the master difficulty to even get a shot at this ship, which is kind of, I mean, it's not the greatest looking ship, but it's definitely unique, and people will notice if you have it. I'll tell you that much. Destiny news. It seems like this time, hold on, he's replying to somebody. Destiny news. There's a new secret puzzle going on in the Kingship Dock Lost Sector in the Tangled Shore. After defeating enemies, a Vex Conflux spawns. It will further spawn 5 oracles. You can destroy these oracles and it will spawn a Vex Minotaur. More updates to show. It seems like this is a time-gated event and will eventually unlock upcoming weekly Pinnacle missions. Expunge releasing on May 25th, 2021. Let's go to Kingship Dock Lost Sector. I'm gonna have to take a look at that. Here we go. Pinnacle Power Rewards. We've identified an issue where some activities are no longer advertising Pinnacle drops when they no longer reward them. Deepstone Crypt should be granting at power, say that again, at power rewards, not Pinnacle, at this time. Vault of Glass will be granting Pinnacle Power Raid rewards once it goes live. All right, what do we got here? Thank you. Pyric Accent Vest. I guess that's new armor for Flawless, I guess?
Yeah, it's a
Oh,
patch note.
I see. Mispatch note. Each week there will be an adept weapon available from the Flawless Chest and Trials. No more weekends where there is only an armor piece. Okay, cool. Additionally, loot from 3, 5, and 7 ones can drop from Flawless runs, etc. Snag the Adept Messenger with an additional vest. So on weeks where armor is the main feature, you're also guaranteed to get a weapon. Now, does that mean that on weeks where the weapon is the main feature, you're guaranteed to get a piece of armor? I doubt it, but we'll see. Bungie Help says, due to an issue, we have disabled the Scavenger's Den Master Level Lost Sector. For those of you that don't know, apparently there was I don't know if it was a bug or a map exploit or what, but basically you could skip more than half the map and kind of go directly to the boss. And people were farming it way too fast, and Bungie doesn't like us having fun, so they nerfed it. Cheese Forever says, I knew that would happen. It's not even a hard lost sector. Legit, though, going up the exit path is something they will never learn. Okay, cool. Joe D'Angelo says, why isn't the trial... Oh, said that one.
Yeah, you did.
Destiny News. Bungie has added a new emblem this season.
You
I already
did
said
that.
that one too. Yay! Is that it?
That's it. I think that's it for you, anyway. So I have some tips, tricks, guides, and builds. There are 23 videos that I have hand selected for your appraisal this week, ladies and gentlemen. You may have already seen them because if you've been a follower of this show, you know what kind of videos I look out for to help anybody and everybody. So we already pointed out the Fallout Plays insane new artifact mods that you need to look out for Season of the Splicer, because Peroty read through them very nicely earlier. But we also have the ultimate guide for Destiny 2 Season of the Splicers from Fallout Plays. He goes over override, leveling up, etc., etc. A lot of the points that we've kind of gone over in this podcast I may have missed, so have a quick skim of that. It's only about 15 minutes long, so if you've got a spare 15 minutes, have a look at that. Respawn. Aspects and fragments. Did you pick up the new aspect?
I sure done did, dude.
And what's it called for the hunters?
It is called dun, 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 dun. The Touch of Winter. Your Glacier, Duskfield, and Cold Snap grenades have enhanced functionality. Glacier Grenade adds a stasis crystal and changes the formation. So Glacier Grenade is basically gives you a bigger bubble. I'm sorry, I lied. Glacier Grenade, instead of it throwing the wall up in a line, it creates a circle. And instead of it only having 5 pillars, it now has 6. So you get an extra pillar, and it's a kind of a more conformed shape. Dustfield Grenade increases the overall size of the field, and it puts a stasis crystal in the middle. So you could technically impact that if you wanted to try to kill an enemy, although it's not going to do a whole ton of damage. And the Cold Snap Grenade. Oh, by the way, if you hit them like with the crystal in the middle of the Cold Snap, like if you aim it right and you not Cold Snap, and if you throw the grenade, the Dustfield Grenade, and you aim it right, and it spawns the bubble, and the person you've thrown it at happens to be in the middle where that glacial thing is, it will insta-freeze them. So that's one good thing about that. And Cold Snap Grenade, Seekers travel faster, farther, and chain 1 additional time. There's one thing it doesn't mention here, but the Cold Snap Grenades are also taller now. So whereas you could easily jump over it last time and it would avoid you, you could still probably do it not without too much difficulty, but it is not as easy as they are taller now. So they travel further, they travel faster, they seek 1 additional time, and they're slightly taller. So all in all, not a bad aspect. It also gives you 2 slots. So there you go. I paired it with my Grim Harvest from last season, which defeating slow to frozen combatants creates a stasis shard, and these shards grant melee energy when picked up by you or your allies, right? So basically, I just got a 4th slot, and in that 4th slot, I added the what's it called? Where the shards come to you, right? They float towards you. Yeah. So whenever you're creating all these stasis shards, instead of you running to go pick them up, they'll actually just come to you, which, won't really... it doesn't pull you away from combat, so you have to run and pick those up. You can continue, your anarchy.
Your escapades, yeah.
Yeah, right? And then they'll just come to you. So it's easier, and of course, if you have the right setup, every time you get one, it recharges your melee faster, so you can keep the cycle going. That's it.
Well, Cool Guy has a really good video on the new Whisper of Conduction and Rhyme and what they exactly do. Together, he reckons that they are nearly overpowered, and there's always a new way to play with these fragments that could become part of the meta. Yep. They work with the harvest aspect on on all classes, but they all work differently depending on the class, and he goes over it in his videos. And there's a lot of numbers, there's a lot of builds that he kind of goes over and shows you in depth, and they work really, really well. So I thought that might be something that you want to check out to kind of improve your PvP gameplay or even PvE gameplay. And then we have a plethora of videos from Cheese Forever, our good friend Cheese, who points out the glitch that was happening with the last sidearm, where you could charge it up and get a charge shot, is still working on the Cryosthesis 77K. So this is basically a no reload exploit that you can get to just constantly burn people down and freeze them. And it doesn't look like it's been patched as yet, but there are kind of some mechanics and timing of how you get these shots off. So check the video out if you want to have a look at it and see how to do that. There is also a double weapon damage glitch for Eater of Scales, the exotic hunter boots. So that one Respawn will be interested in exploiting. There is a glitch also for the boots of the assembler for the warlock, a 10 times noble rounds glitch. And this isn't the one that kind of Fallout goes over in his video. This is something different that was found by somebody else that Jesus made a video on. So go and check that out if you want to see what you can do with that. And there is a bonus stats available from Universal Ornaments glitch. Did you know this? So there seems to be some stats that are transferable when you put a universal ornament on your gear. It'll give you like +1 or +2 in various different stat elements, depending on what that armor has on it when you go over it. And Cheese has a really cool video for that. So if, for instance, your armor stats are like 1 or 2 out of hitting like those 10s in those stats, at the moment, there seems to be a glitch that you can put an ornament on from a past armor piece, and it'll give you that +1 or +2 in that stat area. Don't know if that is a legit thing or if it is just a glitch, as he says. So check that out for anybody of those that's into their builds.
Yeah.
Gaming Animal has the Eververse calendar for season 14 going right past the solstice. So there's a lot of block stuff out from the solstice weeks that is coming, but there's no kind of actual image for that. But anything else that's in the database right up until then, there's even, I think, one of the weeks after the Vault of Glass goes live, there is the ornament for the Vex Mythic class available for Bright Dust. So check that out if you want to see what's coming up in Eververse for the next couple of weeks or for the whole of the season. He also goes over how to get the Vault of Glass raid ship, the Vault Strider in Destiny 2. Again, spoilers if you don't want to know for that one. And then he goes over in another video all the Vault of Glass triumphs for the title seal. Again, spoilers for that because it kind of tells you what you kind of need to do and to what to expect. So if you want to go in blind, don't watch those videos. Watch it after you've done it so that you kind of roughly know. Aztecross goes over all of the Splicer exotics. So this is the Starry to Scales, the Boots of the Assembler, and the Path of, I can't remember for the Titans, but I have them. It took me many attempts to get them. I did over 20 lost sectors, and initially I was recording it for the podcast for the YouTube channel, and I thought, after 2 or 3 goes they'll probably drop and I'll get them and it'll look good in the video, and it didn't. And I ended up giving up recording. The amount of effort, and I was getting really upset with it because after about, I think it was about the 4th attempt at doing the lost sector when the boots came up, I think I was at 1330 power. So I was, quite good. I was just over the 1310 to get in the lost sector, and I was doing it in like 8 to 10 minutes. I was doing pretty decent at it. And I tried various different loadouts. I'll touch on that in a second. But the 4th or 5th drop, it dropped boots for me, but it dropped the Mark 44 standard size. I was like, well, this isn't right. Surely I should be getting the new boots. If they're going to drop me exotics, why am I not getting the new exotics to drop first? But it gave me the Mark 44 standard size, so I was quite upset. It then took me, I'd say, another 20 attempts at running it, and I did give up recording it for the podcast because I thought this is just going to be boring. People watching me go through and get nothing. But I watched a video. Right. Yeah, I did get them in the end because I thought it's not fair that you're rocking your ones and you went and got your ones, and you probably got it in about 5 or 6 attempts, and I've had to try about 20
4
goes.
Exactly 4.
Let's say exactly.
Yeah. And it's on recording if you wanted to see what happens.
I watched a video from Ebontis that went over the specific lost sector that I was doing at the time, and he was saying, you need to go in as an ARC subclass, you need to do this, you need to do that. He wasn't rocking anything too specific apart from making sure you had this and that in your build. But I didn't go in with an arc subclass. I went in with my solar subclass because it said solar damage does more damage, whether it's incoming or outgoing. So I went in as a solar titan. I took the igneous hammer hand cannon. Initially I went in with a sword, so I was stunning the champions, running up and swording the champions with what's the sword that you can do the twirly round thing? I can't remember it.
The guillotine,
Not the
falling
exotic.
guillotine.
Falling guillotine, yeah. So I was using falling guillotine, which is void. So I was stunning them and then just void swording them down. And then I was kind of using my scout rifle to get the servitors down. And that seemed to work fine. I got to the boss, popped my super. It didn't matter whether he had an arc shield or not. I was using solar hammers, just throwing them at him. He just died instantly. So sometimes following YouTubers' advice isn't necessarily the best thing to do. As long as you can kind of work it out yourself, I found that just doing what I wanted to do works quite quick. He says that he got it done in about 5 minutes. 5 minutes, 8 minutes, potato. It didn't matter to me. I kind of experimented with my loadout. I took in Dead Man's Tail, my hand cannon, and the sword to start off with, and then I rotated it round. I thought I'll just use Xenophage as I had that, and even that burnt through the boss a couple of times. It was quite cool. But yeah, so if you can go in and just use what you've got to your advantage, then do that. Next on the video watching list, we have a brilliant video by Fallout Plays going over the Warlocks, their new boots, their exotic boots, the boots of the Assembler, and how you can really get unlimited Warlock rifts. No, really, unlimited. And
What?
it
Oh yeah,
is
because
amazing.
that's only for the healing though, not the empowering, right?
Oh no!
It's for the empowering too.
If you use Illumina, the exotic
Yeah.
hand cannon that gives you noble rounds, when you
Yeah.
buff a teammate, you get a buff of damage as well as healing for you and your teammates. And there are ways that you can use the rifts and the Lumina to constantly buff your teammates and constantly have your rift up unlimited. Now, this is going to be useful in PvE activities, but also in 6v6s when the Seekers know that you've got 5 other teammates, and it will send the Seekers out to your 5 other teammates and constantly buff them. You can constantly proc your Lumina to constantly give them buffs to kill. So a 2-tap hand cannon becomes something ridiculous. Sniper rifles become ridiculous for body shots. Check the video out. It's really good. A really good informative video on what you can kind of do with this new Warlock exotic. I could see that the Warlocks are going to be kind of instrumental in the raid coming up with what they can do. Then there was a video from Grey Gaming that goes over the new Titan exotic boots, the Path of the Burning Steps. That's what they're called. And a perk that's not actually listed on the boots, but has been found out whilst playing, is these boots are kind of meant to help you combat stasis. So the perk is Firewalker. Solar final blows periodically grant you an escalating bonus to weapon damage. You are harder to slow or freeze with stasis, and when you break out, you take no damage from doing so, creating a burst of solar energy around yourself. Now, the solar energy burst is quite big, so if somebody's rushing in to shotgun you, they shouldn't do, because if they're weak, then they're going to die. But the thing that was found out that isn't actually listed on the boots is if I'm gonna place you as the hunter. If a hunter throws out one of their little freezing shurikens, it actually gives you the buff to give you bonus weapon damage. So
Any form of ice gives the Titans the buff. It's BS.
yeah, no, but I'm just saying the hunters, because let's face it, it's always a hunter versus the Titan.
Yep.
If you take any kind of frozen damage, you get the one-time stack of the weapon damage buff, which is insane for the amount of stasis that is going around in the Crucible, that it will give you the potential to 2-tap somebody very quickly if you take any kind of damage. But it's not listed on the boots, so which is quite cool. But Grey Gaming goes over that in his video. Then we have our friend of the show, Froggy618157725, goes over a couple of cool glitches. The first one, he goes over height and flight. So this is a guide on how to get higher and fly with sparrows, etc. in the game. Pretty cool. And then he goes over the override mission via the Pit of Heresy. And this is kind of glitching out of going in to see where this new part of the override mission is, which will all be in by the time you maybe hear this podcast. But I thought it was quite interesting. JB3 has glitched inside the vault. So this is via the new social space for the Elixni. And if you're interested in seeing that, you can go and watch JB3. And he's also got into the Scourge of the Past chest room. And you can have a look at that. Lucky 10p has a quick video on why Sundering Blast mod on the artifact may be one of the best ones that you can get, and why you might want to put it on your artifact. Sorry, get it from your artifact. Sorry.
Two different things, my dude.
Yeah. And Needless Space has explored the ruins in, is it Botster Ruins? Which is the end area.
I don't know how to pronounce it.
Okay, it's the end area for the Scourge of the Past raid, which is where the Elixni are now, which is your kind of area that you end up when you're kind of talking to Mithrax at the beginning of the opening mission. And if you walk around the area, there's a lot of scannables that you can kind of look at and read. And I think it's Mithrax's daughter is the one that's kind of telling you all the different information about the Elixni. And there's lots of data pads and things that you can kind of scan to get a bit more information about them. And I think I've kind of recorded as much as I could find for the podcast this week in the YouTube section. So while we're rittering on at probably the beginning of the podcast, I did put the subtitles up so you can kind of read that as we kind of go along, or you can go there yourself and explore and scan these things. And I can't remember where I saw it, but I did hear that there's a pink symbol that's on one of the walls that's kind of spray painted. And apparently that's meant to be a kind of a symbol for Saint 14. So there is also something later on, which I think you've seen, haven't you, Hunter Master Rager, which is a cutscene that somebody's data mined that involves Saint 14 and this Elixni.
Like I've said before many times, I give Titans a bunch of crap, but Saint 14, he's up there, right? I respect the hell out of him. And this scene shows.
No, we won't tell people. I'll link it in the show notes.
Okay,
if you are interested in
absolutely watch it.
It is probably a big spoiler for maybe that's coming in the next week or two. So it involves Saint 14 and the Elixni. That's all I'm going to say. But Needless Space has kind of explored that area, and there are about 4 or 5 data pads that are kind of locked behind these railings. That maybe there's going to be an exotic mission that kind of takes place in that area, maybe, because it looks like it's going to be. I don't understand why they've put that back in the kind of area if we're not going to be using it, a bit like we had with the Glycon, we've had with the Harbinger mission. So possibly later on with these data pads turning up. So if you want to check that out, it's only a minute and a half video. So yeah, go check that out. Then we have one from iFrostbolt going over the ignition code. So this is the grenade launcher that you can get from this season from mainly doing the override mission. But what he points out is that certain roles on this, or a certain role on this, can be very nasty indeed. Now, this is with Slideshot, and if I can just find it again. Slideshot partially reloads the magazine and temporarily boosts range and stability. So it will reload your magazine after you fire and you slide. You can also roll with Frenzy on it, so being in combat for an extended time it increases damage, handling, and reload speed for this weapon until you are out of combat. It also can roll with Spike Grenades, which increases the damage on direct hits, and Quick Launch, which can improve the velocity and stability of the weapon. And if you can get a velocity masterwork on it, you can get a blast radius of 55, velocity of 93. Stability, I suppose you're not really concerned about because it's a one-shot kind of thing, but handling of 81. So this weapon, in the hands of some people, can be very much like the Mountaintop was way back when. So I've got a video on that from iFrostbolt if you are interested in checking out a good role for that. So the new submachine gun that you can get from Trials this week, the Soraya's Wrath. Apparently, there's a really good roll on it that could rival the Recluse. Was the Recluse, wasn't it?
Yeah, not via the damage though, but because of ease of use and consistency. So it doesn't have a perk like Master of Arms or whatever, right? I mean,
No.
it kind of does. It kind of okay. So Master of Arms, whenever you killed anything with any weapon, it would proc Master of Arms, right? So it's not what this gun has. What this gun has in the video, basically, there's two perks that when you kill something, it procs both perks at the same time. One increasing damage, the other one increasing stability and target acquisition, right? So it
Yeah.
gives you the extra stability, target acquisition, and stability that the Recluse did, and you can also kill people from kind of a bonkers range. So yeah.
Yeah, because it can roll with kill clip and tunnel vision. So the tunnel vision is one of the new perks. So reloading after defeating a target greatly increases target acquisition and aim down sight speed for a short duration. And then with kill clip, reloading after a kill grants increased damage. So the video is by Astacross. So if you are interested in getting one of those, you've got trials this weekend, but it'll probably be up, I'd say, in about 2 or 3 weeks' time again, because I think they're going to add more to the loot pool. So you've got potential of getting some of the new stuff as well. And then finally, T Glizzy has come across a new emblem that is available that you can get in a very limited time. It's called the Misplaced Sun, and it'll be extremely rare. So what this requires you to do is go to a website and sign up just for, I think, a newsletter, basically, and then they'll give you a code that you can then go to the Bungie.net page and just get a free emblem. Hopefully it'll be one of those ones that's quite rare, because it's not one that a lot of people know about until we tell a lot of people about it. So yeah, that's that. That's my tips, tricks, guides, and builds this week.
Well, thank you very much, sir. That was very
Mhm.
illuminating and exhausting.
Well, it's one of those weeks where there's a lot of information out there, and to try and gather as much, I try and get as much as I can for everybody to take in. It may be one that you want to kind of go back over and over again with all the different videos, but kind of pin them and check them out when you kind of come across it in game. So, and anything else that I can kind of think of that will help anybody in in their Destiny gameplay.
Right, yeah, and I mean it's always good to have, especially not good to have. Sorry, it's always going to be the long weeks, the first week after a new DLC drop.
And what I'm looking forward to is all the different builds
Yeah.
with with the aspects and the fragments, and even these new exotics that we're getting from doing Lost Sectors is quite cool. So I'm really looking forward to what's going to be new, and some of those weapons, man. So I really want to get a pulse rifle. I've not had a pulse rifle to drop. I had one of the auto rifles to drop near Godroll. The what's it called? The Chroma Rush. I got one with kill clip, feeding frenzy, accurized rounds, and chamber compensator. I put the backup mag on it, so I've got 60 in the magazine. The stability is 69, range is 42, but it's got a handling masterwork on it. It's not as good as there was a really cool Dead Orbit auto rifle, which was the Guiding Star from year one, which had a range of 58 and a stability of 47. Now the stability wasn't too bad on it. It had moving target and high caliber rounds, but it worked for me. It seemed to be quite stable, and that's in the same kind of archetype, the 720 realm of this fast firing auto rifle, and I really do like that. I still got it in my vault. So I always like those kind of ones. So I'm maybe looking for one that's got maybe a bit more range on there. Maybe a range masterwork would push it up to 51, and it'd kind of be in that kind of territory of the Valkadin, which is very similar in range stats and stability stats, but that's an energy weapon. So yeah, I'm quite excited by that. But the pulse rifle, everyone seems to be talking about at the moment, and again, I think they've knocked it out of the park this season with weapons. There was so much loot that people want to get from doing the override missions and just focusing your engrams. And saying that, don't focus your engrams just yet. Make sure that you've unlocked everything in your servitors. I know there's been a lot of YouTube videos out there, a lot of posts on Twitter, Reddit. Don't use your ether or your data decryption, decrypted data to focus your engrams just yet, unless you want to just do that. Don't listen to me. If you want to do that, you do that. But the fact
I'm not
is
here
that
to tell you how to live your life.
but I'm going to tell you how to live your life better.
Right.
The idea is to upgrade your server to first, and then store up your decrypted data to then use it on your engrams. That's probably your best way. Yeah, I know you want the hot stuff now. I know you want the nice new stuff. I do as well. But hold back, my friends, and it will be worth it. Come back and tell me in a couple of weeks I'm wrong, because I probably am. But I think it'll be worth it.
Earlier today during the show, I actually got a drop for the new grenade launcher you guys were talking about, memory interdict. And the one that I have rolled with proximity grenades, clown cartridge, and chain reaction. And I've been using Anarchy for so long, I've forgotten what it's like to use a normal grenade launcher, right? Normal heavy grenade launcher. And the first time I popped off around into a group of ads and they all just disintegrated because of the chain reaction, I was like, ooh. This might be fun. But yeah, no. So again, I was just saying because that's the grenade launcher we were talking about earlier, and I just happened to have gotten one with clown cartridge and chain reaction. So as far as rolls go for a grenade launcher, that's not bad. That's not bad.
Yeah. Did you want to quickly touch on the issue that people have kind of come up with for the? I'd say it's an issue, or the stuff that I kind of forwarded you for the respawn rant, but you didn't say you were going to rant about something.
Yeah. Okay. So here's what it is. I'll show everybody. We can read it together as we go. All right. So Demon. Yeah, we can. So
this isn't a rant, but it's more of a kind of opinion, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it's you raise a good point, right? So it's not to be just kind of sidelined, because then Bungie will think that it's okay to do this kind of crap, right? And it's not. So I mean, in some aspects I can understand why they do it. In other aspects, again, it's kind of scumbaggy, but we're just going to go over it, right? So he said, okay, so response report says DSC not having pinnacles at this time, right? So the raid, which is the only raid we have right now, doesn't have pinnacles, and then we don't have VOG yet, right? So the raid should continue to have pinnacles until VOG comes out or whatever, right? So that's my opinion on that. But anyway, right now it doesn't have it. They also remove spoils of war, but to rub it in,
or reduce them.
Yeah, sorry.
Somebody else has kind of come back and said that possibly they've been reduced from what you were able to obtain.
Either way,
saying that they're not
the numbers were nerfed. Whether it's been removed or reduced, we don't have as many as we did. Okay, and but to rub it in, VOG, which was free to all players. Let's say that again. VOG is going to be free to all players, is going to have Pinnacle, right? Sounds great, right? But the problem is this. The problem is you had to pay for you had to pay for Deepstone Crypt.
Beyond Light.
Yeah.
Beyond Light.
You had to buy Beyond Light, and you had to buy it in order to play the Deepstone Crypt, right? Couldn't do it otherwise. So if you didn't buy that, you missed out on an entire source of 4 Pinnacle drops. Yeah. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 4. 4 Pinnacle drops, right? So no, 5. 4 chests and then the boss, I think. Whatever. 4 or 5. So so you missed out on all of those if you didn't buy the DLC, and people are like, okay, well, yeah, no, it's paid content, whatever, right? But now, here we have Vault of Glass coming. We had to buy the season pass in order to get access to all the stuff that we have now, right? So you had to purchase this upgrade, right? But if you didn't purchase the upgrade for this DLC, you get Vault of Glass anyway, like for free.
I think the issue is the Garden of Salvation raid that we had with the Shadowkeep stuff.
Yeah,
that was for a whole year, wasn't it? That it was Pinnacle until Beyond Light came along, and then that raid wasn't Pinnacle anymore.
Yep.
We've had Deepstone Crypt for 6 months now, since November, and already it's kind of sunset to an extent. You can still go and do the Last Wish, you can still do the Garden of Salvation, but you don't get the pinnacles from it.
Right.
And I think the issue is that if you paid for Beyond Light, you still have access to the Exo mission that you can do each week. Week that still drops a pinnacle, which is a +2 pinnacle. You can also still do the Master Empire hunts, which will still give you a pinnacle reward. Now, these were things that are in Beyond Light. So why nerf one of the things that is one of the pinnacle points of Destiny to go and do is a raid, and not nerf the things that are kind of just in the game? Because they could have just changed those things and just done a normal reward like they did with the Crow, with his lure. Those things were pinnacle up until the end of that season, and then they dropped them back to just being
if they did that,
light
we'd
equivalent
have
rewards.
almost no sources of pinnacle gear this season if they did that, right?
But the idea with that is that you go and play the raid, you play the new Glycon mission, you play the Harbinger mission, you play these things that are still in the game for those specific seasons. So they're bringing Vault of Glass, so it should be another avenue for you to go and get pinnacle gear from. But I don't understand why they've removed it from the raid, because the raid is still pinnacle activity to go and do. Now it's just an activity to go and do, to go and get weapons that you can infuse up. But it doesn't make any sense to still have those things from Beyond Light still give pinnacle rewards when the other things from Beyond Light were removed. Now, when we had the hunts on the moon, we had those for a whole year. Those ones that you go around and you kill the Spectre versions of Crota and Ghoul and things like that. They were available the same length of time as the raid was for that year, before that was kind of nerfed. So I don't understand why Beyond Light is taking a hit 6 months in with the Deepstone Crypt.
I don't understand either. I don't think they should have done it. I think they should have kept that raid active for at least another 6 months, had both raids give pinnacles, and the next DLC that comes up.
They want more people to be on an even playing field, so they've reduced down the level caps from 13, whatever it was going to be, down to 1310 and 1320 respectively. So what's the issue with more people getting to 1320 from doing the pinnacle events? If you've got the time and you make the time to go and do those raids, what is hurting you from getting to 1320 at the beginning of the season and then just working through? If you go and do those, that's why those things are in the game, for you to hit the 1320, to hit the caps on the season. So I don't understand. I know they want to get people going into the Vault of Glass, but I think there's enough reason for people to go back into the Vault of Glass. You've got nostalgia, you've got the weapons, you've got the change of the activities, you've got a challenge mode coming. There are things there that people will want to go back in, unless it's going to be like the rest of Destiny 2, where it's just going to throw the loot at you. Whereas Destiny 1, you weren't even sure if you got a Fate Bringer. You could do that Templar encounter every week religiously, and you'd get absolutely nothing. It was only when, towards the end of its kind of life cycle, when they were saying that you could still play it, but it's not going to be the Vault Glass that's going to continue going forward. They'd then give you like 2 Fate Bringer drops at the same time, which is what I got, which was ridiculous. I don't know why that happened. Well, we're going to wrap it up now. There has been some lore recorded from Hunters of Master Rager and Not Half in the past week. I was going to drop it in at some point, but I think because this episode is going to be quite long with a lot of information, maybe I'll hold off and save it till a couple more weeks later, once we've kind of got some opinions and some more info out to you guys. You may have it next week if there's not much to go. So, yeah, I guess it's back over to Perry to close that show.
Thank you for joining us. Your Titans are Peroty and Nitedemon. Your hunters, no one responds in real life. Your lore scribe, still in the mists, is not ARF. You can email the show at twotitansandahunter@hotmail.com. Find us on Twitter at twotitans_hunter. We're on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Stadia, Google, all the places you want to find us. We're there, watching you, right behind you. Turn around. You can find your favorite Guardians on Xbox Live and PC. Listen to the show on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, and everywhere you can make an MP3 file go into your ear holes. Watch the show on YouTube. You can join the Discord at discord.frozen.party. That's frozen with a 0. And someone should race for world's first on, May 22nd. It won't be me. Maybe it'll be you. And I hear there's a little competition going between Guardian Downcast and Guardian Hub. And I managed to put our frozen PC clan against them, and they can lead us to victory. And with that, say goodbye and toss some smack, and I'll see you next week.
Deuces! Smacktalking.exe engage!
Adios.
They love that we welcome them every week to Two Titans and a Hunter, a Destiny 2 podcast.
Yep.
This is I've heard it's a show where we discuss tips, tricks, and tools to enjoy. God, where we cannot read. We use our own show, bro.
Just give up.
Oh, we
I'm
are
gonna
on,
say a thing on the show. Do-da.
we are on brand. Jesus. Okay, well.
Literally sees a thing on the show. Oh, da-do-da-day.